is because this is a matter that the Constitution has spelled out clearly. And the issue that concerns me.
Honorable Senator, I think it's a bit premature.
It is not.
It's premature, actually, because the notice has not even been given. This is just a communication from the chair.
But, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you just allow me to prosecute my issue. It has to do with your communication and the content of your communication, Mr. Speaker, sir. Because you said, if we go further and raise issues, they'll be out of order. I've listened to your communication very clearly, Mr. Speaker, sir. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm saying, before we get to that length, can we then look at your communication, the letters that have been sent?
No. You are out of order, Senator
Why?
Ledama. The notice has not even been given. I think you are giving your comments prematurely. Wait until that time, then you will raise those issues. Senator Linturi and then Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I was very keen listening to you when you are doing your communication. And I've got your directions. They are quite clear in my mind. And because I would not want to offend this communication in any way, is the reason why I want to further seek guidance and direction on this matter, because if we are to faithfully follow what you've directed, it appears then we'll come to a time when we will be required to take certain positions as this House, either for or against. Now, the question, Mr. Speaker, that I want you to clarify on is, Mr. Speaker, in the recent past, a number of issues have been brought to this committee, or this House. They've been canvassed. And at the end of the day, because I have all personally thought that the independence of this House is so crucial, and that's why the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act was enacted to give immunity to debaters here, so that when as you debate national issues, you do not have to turn back your neck to see or ask who is watching, Mr. Speaker. And with a lot of respect, ask you to ask the whips or the majority leaders, the majority and the minority leader, to come out clearly and guide this House, Mr. Speaker, on whether the matter that is coming before this committee, so that we know how to take positions, whether there are certain political party matters or positions that have been taken, because some of us do not want to be disciplined, some of us do not want to be told that we have defined our party leader. We do not want to be told that a certain political member of a political party has
Senator
to listen to the boss. So, Mr. Speaker, within your respect, kindly let us get guidance from our party bosses within the House here, so that we know how to really manage ourselves, so that we do not appear to be out of order, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
Thank you.
Order. There was the Senator. Then I'll come.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I raise on a point of order. Following the protocol from the Ministry of Health and the 1.5 meter distance, I feel exposed, Mr. Speaker, because my neighbor is too close. And I think the seats, all seats are designated and written seat here. So there are members who are seated haphazardly. Please, Mr. Speaker, I need guidance because I'm exposed and I'm really scared.
What's your point of order, Senator Murkomen? I'll respond to that, Senator Omanga.
Mr. Speaker, just on the same point of order raised by Senator Linturi, it's very serious, Mr. Speaker. 4 members, actually rather 5 members of the Jubilee side where I lead, Mr. Speaker, were taken for disciplinary process for decisions that were made in this House. Mr. Speaker, we live in unprecedented time. In my all 8 years in the Senate, no senator has been punished for exercising their democratic right, Mr. Speaker, in whatever they do. In fact, it is the standing orders that gives the powers and privileges of a member of parliament that protects them for whatever they say in these chambers, Mr. Speaker. A deputy speaker was removed in this house for rulings that he made in this house. So, Mr. Speaker, a number of our colleagues have been sent SMSs all over the weekend. They have been intimidated because they are nominated. And they have been asked, Mr. Speaker, I will name them. I will name them, Mr. Speaker, if necessary.
Okay.
And Mr. Speaker, can I complete what I'm raising?
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I'm on a point of order.
Okay, so on a point of order.
I'm on a point of order.
Just conclude, and then I'll respond to you.
So, Mr. Speaker, we do not want another charade to ensue after this very important debate on a matter of impeachment of a governor, where senators are going to be written letters to be de-whipped from committees. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I can tell you for a matter of fact, the chairman of finance, Senator Mahmood, has been removed from his position as chairman of finance because of his stand on people of Northeastern on matters of finance and the formula.
Order, Senator,
Mr. Speaker,
Senator,
we must,
Senator Murkomen,
Mr. Speaker,
order, Senator.
We are going to get to that direction.
Order, Senator. Order,
we are
Senator.
going to go to that direction.
Order, Senator.
You must give direction
Order, Senator.
as to what exactly a senator can say and cannot say in this.
Order, Senator. What's your point of order, Senator Ochila Yako? Senator Kajwang, sorry, then Ochila Yako.
Mr. Speaker, I must say I've got some experience in disrupting the business of the House. I have filibustered, I've blown whistles, I've made noise and all sorts of things. Today, the nation is looking at Senate and seeking to find whether Senate is still living up to its expectation of defending counties and their governments. Mr. Speaker, I realize why certain political parties in this republic need a parliamentary group meeting, because what some of their members are trying to prosecute on the floor of this House are issues that should be dealt with in parliamentary group meetings and caucuses. So I just want to encourage, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, not to take this House for a ride. And indeed, those who say that this House is dead. Mr. Speaker, I can say that they presided over the death of this House. They should not be here to bury the House. Mr. Speaker, the elders say that it is only a foolish fly that follows a carcass to the grave. If this House is dead, then get off the skin of that carcass. Mr. Speaker, would I be in order to request that we go back to the substantive issues? Because I think Senator Lekina raised more substantive issues than the others that should be sorted out in political party caucuses.
Okay, order members. Senator Yako, Achilo Yako, then we...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in our standing orders, it's very clear that we are not allowed to raise frivolous or irrelevant points of order. Mr. Speaker, if you allow persistent interjections from anybody, any of us, in the guise of a point of order, we'll not get to the gist of this matter. So I want to implore you, Mr. Speaker, to strictly enforce the standing orders that will allow us to, in a very orderly fashion, carry out the business of this House.
Okay, thank you. I think I want to appeal to all of you to observe the standing orders. And some matters are quite irrelevant in this House. They can be handled somewhere outside in other organs of maybe political parties, but let them not be brought here so that we are able to make progress. The Sergeant at Arms, we ask you to check whether people are observing the social distancing as directed by the Ministry of Health. Next order. As we continue.
Point of order.
No, let us make progress.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, what's your point of order, Senator Faria?
Mr. Speaker, in the morning, we gave direction that, and we spoke to the Sergeant at Arms and asked them to book a seat for Senator Yusuf Haji and Senator Amos Wako. The one of Senator Amos Wako was done, he had a seat. The one of Senator Yusuf Haji was not there. That is why, as you can see, I'm the one who is sitting, because he's my elder, I cannot moving out of my seat. So there, and I'm moving the motion. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think there is a bit of discrimination on the part of Sergeant at Arms in terms of not following procedures, Mr. Speaker.
What's your point of order, Senator
Asante Bwana Spika. Asante sana Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kwa upande wangu wa kushoto yuko ndugu yangu Seneta Mahmud, ambaye Seneta Mahmud ni mtu namheshimu sana. Lakini kwa bahati nzuri na bahati mbaya, sijui kama leo amekosea barabara, amepata barabara, lakini kwa vile sisi tunaona kwa heshima kuu na ndugu yangu Mahmud pale alipoketi, sipo anatakana kuketi kila siku, na kama upande ule hakuna nafasi, hata wewe unaweza kuona pande hii haina hata mmoja aliye pande ile aliyechukua nafasi ile, lakini pande ile iko na mmoja wao ambaye ni ndugu yangu Mahmud. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, mimi nakuomba nafasi hii aweze kurudi upande ule kama kutakuwa na nafasi, ama aende kule ambako kuna nafasi ya watu wote ambao wanaweza kuketi kule. Bwana Spika, ni muhimu upande huu tuketi sisi ambao ni wapinzani. Asante Bwana Spika.
I did mention that, just a minute, I did mention that the Sergeant at Arms should go around and ensure that people are observing social distancing. If there are people are sitting where they're not supposed to sit, please let them go and join the rest of the senators in the extended. Yes, Senator Murkomen, what is it so that we?
In fact, on that particular issue, Mr. Speaker, would like you to make a more substantive ruling, not necessarily today. Yeah, it can even happen next week. And I'm raising that based on Standing Order 249. Standing Order 249, Mr. Speaker, is very clear. It says there shall be reserved seats in the Senate chambers for the exclusive use of the following: the Deputy Speaker, the Senate Majority Leader, the Senate Minority Leader, and the senators with disabilities. All other seats in the chamber shall be available for the use of any senator. So, Mr. Speaker, there is no, whether it is on the left side of the Speaker or the right side of the Speaker, once those seats has been designated for health standards for anyone to sit, we are all of us free to sit. But, Mr. Speaker, you also must appreciate that my sister, the nominated senator from Wajir Faria, there is no standing order that allows her to be designated a sitting position, just like my friend Malala. I'm sorry, but you know that's the standing orders. It only recognizes five seats. Because, Mr. Speaker, I'm saying this because most of us come here on time, you want to sit down, then you find so many seats are populated with reservations, Mr. Speaker, against the provision of the standing order. So I don't know if you want to make the ruling now, but even if it is next week, that is a matter that your office, Mr. Speaker, must deal with. Okay.
Yes, Leader of Minority.
On a point of order, Mr. Speaker, I just heard what the distinguished senator from Elgeyo Marakwet has said. But, you know, there's always a very important standing order number 1, which states that in cases where there is no provision in the standing orders, the decisions made in paragraph 1, that is standing order number 1, shall be based on the Constitution of Kenya, statute law, the usages, forms, precedents, customs, procedures, and traditions of Parliament. I want to emphasize traditions of Parliament. There is nothing that says Senator Murkomen should sit on the other side. But he has faithfully sat on the other side because that is the tradition. The majority sits on the right of the Speaker, the minority sits on the left. So these are traditions and conventions that have been kept in this Parliament when it was bicameral or unicameral, and I think it must be observed if you want to maintain order in the House.
Speaker. Senator Susan.
Oh, thank you, Speaker. But as the leader of minority has well put it about traditions in the House, a very important one was set about 3 weeks ago. I may be off, maybe 3, maybe 2 weeks, during the impeachment hearing or the ouster of the Deputy Speaker Kindiki. Myself and Senator Linturi and Senator Omanga were in the chamber, and we sat in chairs that were not designated sit here. Mr. Speaker, you proceeded to have us leave the chamber. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking you and hoping, and I'm hopeful, that you will keep the same precedent. And if there is anyone sitting, like Senator Farhia here, without a seat here, then she should be observing or she should be participating from the other side, like we did.
Senator Pareno, let's limit these things so that we are able to proceed, surely. Yes, Senator Pareno.
Speaker, I would like to read what Senator Murkomen has left out so that you don't take note. Speaker, that is the same section that he quoted, 249.3, reads as follows. Subject to this standing order and any other order of the Senate, any question relating to the occupation of seats in the Senate chamber shall be determined by the Speaker. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that you've already determined how we are going to sit in this Senate. You already designated only 28 senators, a certain number from the majority side and a certain number from the minority side. As we sit now, the majority side has even decided to take some of our seats on this side by the senator who I really respect, Senator Mahmoud Mohammed, sitting on this side.
Point of information, Mr.
So, Mr. Speaker, you have already given guidance according to the COVID-19 regulations. You must be respected in as far as
order, members.
So, Mr. Speaker, can we enforce both this section and the guidance you have given in as far as the COVID-19 regulations are concerned?
This is the direction. Take your seat, Whip, and Senator Haji. Just proceed where you are. Now, honorable senators, we have a very substantial matter to address. I have given direction. I want the sergeant at arms, in collaboration with the whips, to make sure that those who are sitting in places that are not designated for sitting to move to the other chamber so that we make progress. It is so directed. Next order. Let's proceed. No. Let's proceed. Let's
Mr.
make
Speaker,
progress.
It's a point of order on messages. It's a point of order on messages, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Murkomen,
Mr.
I think we need to make progress.
Please, I beg you. Mr. Speaker, on 12th of May, you made a communication in this House. Mr. Speaker, this is very serious. And you made a communication in this House in relation to purported removal of certain members from positions of authority in this House. And Mr. Speaker, your communication was one-pager with no reasons, and you said, Mr. Speaker, in a short while you will provide reasoned ruling. Mr. Speaker, it is now more than 1 month since you made that communication.
Order, Senator Murkomen.
And we've not received the reasoned ruling.
Order. Senator Murkomen, you are not going to direct the Speaker when to make his communication. It's out of order. You are out of order, Senator Murkomen.
I have not directed.
Parliament is, Senate is still on. We have not closed. We have not gone on recess. I'll give my communication.
Mr. Speaker, I have asked in good faith.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, every time you say you will make communication, members in this House stand up and ask for, when are you going to make that communication?
Okay, my direction is I will make the communication. Next order.
When, Mr. Speaker?
Order number 3. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Point of order.
Honorable Senators, I hereby report to the Senate that a petition has been submitted by Carol Karuga, CEO Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA, regarding the lands registry processes. 2, as you are aware, under Article 119(1) of the Constitution, and I quote, every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including enacting, amending, or reporting any legislation. Honorable Senators, the salient issues raised in this petition are as follows. A, that in line with its core mandate to help Kenya be globally competitive in doing business, KEPSA recognizes that clearly defined legislation, highly quality land administration system, and equal access to property rights is essential for enabling business to expand their operations, and that the absence of land ownership protection in a country leaves investors open to land disputes or property seizures, outcomes which likely to hinder direct investment relating to land and property development projects. B, that the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning has been issuing notices on closure of the Central and Nairobi registries for purposes of conducting audit on all land records in the registries, with the most recent notice having been issued on 12 February 2020. See that the arbitrary closures will result to an enormous negative impact on the economy with regard to the overall global ranking on the ease of doing business and access to credit in Kenya. For lending, institutions are not able to offer credit on unreliable data from the land registry. Court cases filed arising from poorly maintained records or forgeries resulting in delay in transactions and processes that would likely undo the progress made in the country on matters relating to land reforms. D, that the audits were being conducted without the involvement of the relevant stakeholders who possess expertise on matters relating to land information management systems. E, that the ministry issued a public notice in April 2018 in relation to the preparation of online services and online processes of land transactions at the land registry to digitize land registries. The Law Society of Kenya on 5th April 2018 wrote to the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Land and Physical Planning regarding the legal issues affecting the new online services and requested for suspension of the online services and online processes of land transactions. That through the intervention of the courts, it was agreed that the ministry establishes a task force to develop guidelines for the implementation of an electronic register and conveyancing system. G, that the Ministry of Land constituted a task force on electronic land transactions, registration, conveyancing, and other related activities in August 2018. That the task force presented its report to the ministry, which elaborated, among other issues, the recommended guidelines for the implementation of an electronic registration and conveyance system. Heck, that the task force presented its report to the ministry, but the report was never published, and some of the recommendations made were already being implemented despite the report not being publicized. Key among the recommendations was enactment of the Business Law Amendment Bill 2019, which introduced the electronic system of processing documents. I, that regulations operationalizing the land information management system were published on 28 June 2019 and submitted to the Clerk of the National Assembly on 1st August 2019. The response were thereafter tabled in the National Assembly and referred to the Committee on Delegated Legislation, which tabled its report on 13th November 2019, recommending for the annulment of the regulations. This report was adopted on 25th November 2019 in the National Assembly, effectively annulling the regulations. That the following, the annulment of the regulations, the minister has continued to unlawfully implement the land information management system without the proper statutory backing, and K, that the land registry is poorly administered, resulting to misplaced records, wrong stamping of documents, and delayed transactions periods. The petitioners therefore petitioner prays that the Senate intervenes in the matter and undertake an investigation with a view to ensuring that the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning ceases implementation of the land information management system pending formulation and establishment of proper guidelines, regulations on the implementation of the same. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order number 231, I shall now allow comments, observations, or clarifications in relation to the petition for not more than 30 minutes. What's your point of order, Senator Kinyua?
Bwana Spika, umepeana uamuzi ya kwamba maseneta ambao wameketi mahali ambapo hapahitaji kuwa ameketi. Kwa hivyo mimi nahofia kwa maisha yangu kwa sababu ya ugonjwa huu wa COVID-19, Bwana Spika. Uamuzi wako hauzingatiwi, hata umerudia mara si moja, lakini bado anaona ni kama unafanya mzaha, Bwana Spika.
I said as we continue, the sergeant at arms and the whips are working on it to make sure that those who can leave. If there are no comments, well, Senator Ledama. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you. The issue of lands and records is an issue that has been, Mr. Speaker, sir, can you protect me from...
Order, members. The sergeant at arms are working on. Okay, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for this uninterrupted time. The issue of COVID-19 has really disrupted a lot of things. And I'm sure that the Ministry of Lands, which all lawyers are complaining on a daily basis that has closed shop, is also grappling just like the judiciary is grappling with the issue of opening the offices.
Let's consult in law tones. Senator Kangata.
Aye.
Order, Senator Kangata.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think maybe to make it easier, maybe the Senate should consider renting Bomas of Kenya so that all the senators can be able to sit. Because this issue of who is sitting where, we can just measure 1 meter and you allow senators to sit and prosecute their matters. We are here dealing with an issue of a petition that the lands office has been closed and nobody is listening. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, as we prosecute this issue of lands records, I think I would like to ask the committee that you direct to extend it further to all the other government departments, because I don't believe it's only the lands office. Maybe it's the lands office because of the money which is involved in the transactions, but I think even here in this Senate, we're having problems where we can't even measure 1 meter, and it is becoming problematic. So because of COVID-19, I think this issue of land should be taken carefully, maybe consult the ministry as well, so that we can be seen to be doing the work. We are not able to do our work here, so the committee should expand it further. And finally, the Senate should consider renting Bomas of Kenya so that we can continue working for Kenyans. Thank you.
Senator Kangata, then Senator Cheriot.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me speak on behalf of those people who do various work in the lands registry, including myself. It is true the issues that have been raised in that petition are very crucial. There are so many problems in the lands registries in terms of lost files. Mr. Speaker, I would urge that committee to see how that ministry can learn lessons from the judiciary. They have been able to leverage and ensure that matters are proceeding in court. But lawyers who do what we call conveyancing practice are really suffering. You go to the land registry, you file a file has been lost, you cannot be able to convey a document or perfect a document technologically, and therefore, on behalf of those lawyers who are in that area of conveyancing, issues raised there are very important. Thank you.
Senator Cheriot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important petition that has been brought before this House. Mr. Speaker, the issue of lands registry and how we as a country continue to manage it 56 years since we gained independence is something that as a House we finally need to put our foot down and demand that Kenyans deserve better. Mr. Speaker, every successive government that I have watched since I became an adult or even gained consciousness comes to office promising to digitize our lands registry. I remember, Mr. Speaker, even including members of this House, for example, who have served as cabinet ministers in the Ministry of Land. If you watch their speeches, the number one point that they always speak about, and it is for such a time as this that we are facing the challenge of COVID, or previously due to issues of fraud, Mr. Speaker, that we have always felt that it will be better to run our lands registry on a digital platform. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, as is the case and so typical of us as a country, it ends with promises. There's, funds are provided for the same to be done, but nothing ever seems to happen, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask my colleagues who serve in the lands committee, because I'm sure that is where this matter will end up, Mr. Speaker, to first of all, before even giving a final word or authority on how this issue needs to be prosecuted, Mr. Speaker, to tell us how much each and every successive government has spent in trying to digitize our lands record and why we have not been successful. If there are people that are found to have pilfered on these funds, Mr. Speaker, the report that they bring to this House should include the names of those people so that we can surcharge them and for once and for all, we sort out this issue of lands in our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chilayako, then Kajwang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issues relating to land are very serious. In fact, land is the basis of freedom and is the cause of violent conflicts the world over. Nobody can claim to enjoy any kind of freedom without exercising that freedom while standing on a parcel of land that is allowed to stand on. You cannot speak if you are called a trespasser because you will be rounded up and thrown out of that place. you cannot move on land that does not belong to you. So when, under the guise of COVID, the land registry is closed, I'm sure that is affecting the freedom of many Kenyans, that is affecting the freedom of many people. And even land is also a means of production. We need it to generate resources, to generate food, to generate so many things. So by closing the registry because there is COVID, I do not think the public officials who are earning salaries and their work is supposed to ensure that the registry's work are doing Kenyans justice and are also helping mitigate or ameliorate some of the problems that we have as Kenyans. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with the committee that will be dealing with this matter to decide and to base their decision on the fact that land matters are sensitive without being resolved. As we close the registries, as we stop dealing with them, conflicts continue, and our people still suffer the vagaries of poverty because they cannot produce on parcels of land that do not belong to them. So this matter is urgent, and the committee that it will be referred to should treat it as a very urgent matter. There are many families that are waiting for title deeds. There are many development activities that are stopped. In my county of Migori, the entire Nyatike, there are no title deeds. In Kuria East, in Kuria West, title deeds are not being processed. And even some of us who have titles and need to dispose of them in order to get some little money for urgent matters cannot move because land registries are closed. Including myself, Mr. Speaker, there are land activities that I need to engage in that I cannot engage in because the registries are closed. So the legal profession, financiers are all stuck because some people are afraid and do not want to devise ways of working under COVID. And COVID is not about to stop. In fact, it's spiking. So this thing must be brought to an end, and land registries and land activities be treated as matters of concern that need to be attended to quickly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, the petitioner in this case is not an idler. It's the CEO of KEPSA. That's Madam Karuga. And that's someone we have interacted with a lot. Mr. Speaker, annually you organize a speakers roundtable with the private sector. By the time the private sector decides to bring a petition to this House, it affirms the confidence that they have in this House. And I do hope, Mr. Speaker, in our conduct of business today and into the future, we shall conduct ourselves in a manner that also lends credence to that perception that is out there. The gist of this petition is that we're implementing a lands information management system, and yet guiding regulations were annulled by the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, that is an illegality, and that is impunity of the highest order. If government officials would continue to implement a project that is dependent on regulations, yet those regulations have been annulled by a House of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, we have automated everything in this country: births, deaths, money, vehicles. Why is it so difficult to automate land registries in a manner that is consistent with the law? I therefore wish to request, Mr. Speaker, and you perhaps need to give us guidance going forward. Where you have regulations or statutory instruments that touch on specific areas of expertise, specific domains. For example, in the order paper, Mr. Speaker, there are regulations, the crops regulations relating to tea and sugar. Is it enough for the delegated legislation committee to sit and scrutinize those regulations, or would you in future direct that where the regulations are so specialized that they do some joint sittings? Mr. Speaker, I think it would be very important if the delegated legislation committee of the Senate was to look at these regulations, if they are to be committed back to the Senate, that they sit with the lands committee. If we are looking at crops regulations, then the delegated legislation would find a way of sitting with the Agriculture Committee so that the subject matter experts and specialists can also inject some thinking. But otherwise, Mr. Speaker, there is no other definition of impunity rather than a government implementing a lands information system, and yet Parliament has annulled the regulations.
Senator Lenturi, I thought you wanted to contribute.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this petition and say Mr. Speaker, it has taken time and Kenyans have really gotten to understand how painful it is not to have a functional land registry, how costly it is not to have, to business, not to have the opportunity to change or create securities for those that want to do business, especially at this period of COVID-19 when money is so urgently required for ease of doing business. Mr. Speaker, as the committee is looking at this, probably I want to ask those other Kenyans that are listening and those people that are in authority to understand that it is not easy to get or realize the gains of operating these land registries without also further going into considering the kind of backlog of cases that relate to land that are pending in various courts in this country for lack of judges, Mr. Speaker. The money that is held that would have been released to the economy as a stimulus out of the dispensation, quick dispensation of land cases that pend because of lack of judges in the environment and land court as why. So any model, Mr. Speaker, that really means well for this country and as an opportunity to play any role to ensure that the economy moves the right way, let him or her do a part. So I urge the committee to quickly get into this matter and make a report and see how we can facilitate those people that are frequent users of land registries to continue or to ensure that they're in business. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mazayo, what's your point of order, Senator Susan?
My point of order, Mr. Speaker, is still on having members in the chamber who are sitting in non-designated areas. The last time this happened on May 22nd, Mr. Speaker, you had us leave the chamber. So I'm wondering, since we have been informed that the sergeants have given you the names of those sitting in such areas, why nothing is happening? Or should we just expect rules don't apply to everyone?
Can I comment?
As I finish, Mr. Speaker, on our side, I know there is Senator Farhia. I am not aware of the other side, but I'm talking at least about what I can see on this side. Thank you.
Yeah, can I just comment? Yeah, just to say that you are saying on your side just Senator Faria, but also when you enforce some of those rules, you're essentially saying my brother, Senator from Embu, who is a respected senator, to get out of my seat. For me, I respect him. I don't mind him staying there. Surely, why would you push Honorable Senator from Embu out of my seat? Me, he can stay there. I think we need to be magnanimous. Me, I'm seated here, and I'm humble with this seat, but it's unfair, my sister from Nakuru, to push a senator from Embu out of my seat. Thank you.
You know, honorable senators, you know, we are dealing with very serious health issues. And, Senator, let's respect each other. Please. I'm saying we are dealing with health issues, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we observe the rules that have been given to us. I was just restraining myself from, you know, some of these problems have been created by some of us who are sitting here. But since you have pushed me, let me now say what happened. Senator Olekina, you removed a sticker from a seat. This is a report I have from the Sergeant at Arms. Senator Farhia, you are sitting in the wrong place. Senator Mazayo, Senator Haniri, and I've said Senator Olekina. The whip has been moving up and down. So those...
Point of information.
So I think let us then observe the rules like we have said, so that we make progress.
Point of information.
Yes, what's your point of information?
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, under Standing Order number 1, and also under the Standing Order number 249 that Murkomen read, you gave very clear rules that the members the senators that should be prioritized to be in the chambers are leadership. So that would, because the business of this house is introduced by leadership. We have Whip Kangata, we expect business from him. We have Whip Faria, we expect business from her. If all of them were thrown out, how would business be transacted? Mr. Speaker, I think you should also visit that rule and also enforce it, otherwise there would be no business here.
Yeah, I know Senator Faria will be moving a motion, so she has requested to stay, and that's the one that I have granted. Senator Khaniri will be making a statement. So I think those, let's make progress. So the rest of the people that have said, let them move out to the other chamber. Okay, let's, where are we? Senator Linturi, you had talked. Okay, Senator Cherargei and Mazayo.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to contribute on the issue of petition of lands. I think where I come from, we have been having those problems. I want to support that petition and hope. Let us, as my colleague senators have said, let us ensure we are given inventory of what the Ministry of Lands have done to make sure there is a digitalization of land records. Because anywhere in this country, Mr. Speaker, land is very emotive, and there have been many claims that land registry has become an conduit of many land frauds in this country. And even it has led to deaths, it has led to family breakups, it has led to many issues, even people being duped because of inefficiency and effectiveness of our land registry. So I support, and coming from a person of the CEO of Kenya Private Sector Lands, is a very critical, and I remember the most affected areas indicated by that petition has always been Nairobi and Central Kenya. And I think it has come to a time that the Ministry of Lands must come out with a proper way of handling issues of land, especially in our counties, because land has become a problem. If it is not between the government and the people, it is between families. If it is not between the families, even, Mr. Speaker, you are aware, along Nandi-Kakamega border, we have been having recurrence of land clashes. It is because of the issue of land. It is because of non-address of these challenges that we are facing with land. So I hope, Mr. Speaker, the land committee must go beyond what has been raised by the petition to look even. I know there is a bill that was proposed by the Senate called County Boundaries Bill. We need to talk to the National Assembly to fast track, because some of the challenges we are facing with border issues involving land can be sorted out by legislative proposal that is before the Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I support this petition, and I hope the Committee of Land will do justice and ensure that it gives direction to this country and to the counties at large. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Finally, Senator Mazayo.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, la kwanza ni kwamba naunga mkono hii petition, na kuna masuala fulani ambayo lazima yaulizwe. Bwana Spika, tumeona ya kwamba hii wizara ya ardhi ni wizara ambayo imezembea kazi yake. Kwa mara nyingine tena imechipuka, haswa tukijua kwamba uchumi wa nchi yetu ya Kenya unategemea zaidi sana ardhi ama mashamba. Sasa biashara zote ambazo zinatakana kufanywa kuhusikana na mambo ya ardhi, Bwana Spika, hata kuuza nyumba, watu wa kuuza manyumba, watu wa kuuza mashamba, watu wa kununua manyumba, watu wa kununua mashamba, watu wa kufanya kazi zozote ambazo zinatokana na ardhi zimelala. Bwana Spika, hali ya uchumi na pesa kuzunguka katika uchumi wetu wa Kenya zimefungiliwa mahali katika ardhi, katika ofisi ya ardhi. Bwana Spika, utaona ya kwamba pia mawakili wanaofanya katika, mimi nikiwa mmoja wa wale mawakili ambao wanafanya kazi, hususan kazi ambazo zinahusikana na ofisi ya ardhi, wanaitwa conveyancing lawyers. Mara nyingi utaona ya kwamba ofisi zao sasa zimefungwa na biashara pia zinalala. Ni kwa sababu ofisi ya ardhi haifanyi kazi, na kazi zote sasa hivi zimelala kwa maofisi ya wale mawakili na wale wanauza na wale wanaonunua, na wengine wako na shida zaidi, wanataka kwenda kusafiri kwenda kupata madawa nje, na hali imekuwa hali ngumu. Sasa tunasema ya kwamba kutakuwa na umuhimu wa kwamba tukiweza kwenda katika njia ya mtandao ya hii mambo ya kutengeneza ardhi, itakuwa bora zaidi, lakini pia tuzingatie ufunguliwaji wa hizi ofisi ili uchumi wa nchi uweze kuendelea. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 2321, the petition should be committed to the relevant committee, standing committee for its consideration. In this case, I direct that the petition be committed to Standing Committee on Lands, Environment and Natural Resources. In terms of Standing Order 232, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading the prayer to respond to the petitioner by way of a report addressed to the petitioner and laid to the table of the Senate. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Yeah, Senator Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 16th June 2020. The third report of the Procedure and Rules Committee on amendments of the Senate standing orders to facilitate virtual sittings of the Senate and its committees.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker.
More comment, order.
Substantive order.
Order.
The temporary.
You are not the majority leader.
Leader of majority or majority leader?
Mr. Speaker, you know, I got a little bit.
I will not give you permission. Order.
Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Murkomed. Continue, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 16 June 2020. Number 1, the Crops Tea Industry Regulation 2020 Legal Notice number 97 of 2020. Number 2, the Crops Sugar General Regulation 2020 Legal Notice number 99 of 2020. I thank you.
Chairman Lands. Chair J-Lag.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am begged to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 16th June 2020. Report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs, and Human Rights on the approval of Honorable Rachel Ameso Amolo for appointment as a non-member of Parliament Commissioner to the Parliamentary Service Commission. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair Ad hoc Committee, COVID.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 16th June 2020, the 7th progress report of the Ad hoc Committee on COVID-19
What's your point of order, Senator?
situation in Kenya.
Senator
Mr. Speaker,
thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is it in order for Senator Sakaja, Mr. Speaker, to move, and you know, Mr. Speaker, I'm the one who moved the motion to establish that committee, to table, Mr. Speaker, a paper on COVID, while Mr. Speaker sitting on the wrong seat, violating all the regulations and all the rules, Mr. Speaker? Is it in order?
Proceed, Senator Sakaja.
Mr. Speaker, the immediate former leader of majority seems to not realize the fact that, Mr. Speaker, I have a lot of business and I've requested special permission because I have this paper, I have a notice of motion, I have a motion, I have a statement. Right now, the most important and current issue this Senate is dealing with is COVID, Mr. Speaker. So would you kindly inform him that I made a special request and you've allowed me, Mr. Speaker. And also, by chairing the committee, I understand the actual protocols of 1.5 meters. And there's no one 1.5 meters close to me. In fact, if you stretch your hands, I'm 6 foot tall. If I stretch my hands like this, there's no one within earshot, within my vicinity. So, Mr. Speaker, allow me to keep pushing the agenda that this House gave me the mandate to do, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'm ready. Mr. Speaker,
Order, Senator Murkomen. You have been here for long. You know the rules. You cannot be talking and at the same time seeking my attention. I must give you permission, leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It pays just to have some respect. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the authority of the office of the Speaker has been challenged most of this afternoon. And Mr. Speaker, that's not good for the rules of the House. The Senator of Muranga is sitting next to the Senator of Siaya. The Senator of, Mr. Speaker, Senator Matsaya, you've told him to get out, he has not gone. You've said something about Senator of, Mr. Speaker, Narok. You've said about nominated Senator, Mr. Speaker, from Nairobi, Faria. If, Mr. Speaker, this will be the trend, Senator Sakaja has walked, sat in between two senators, and there are two senators in front of him. It's not about me. It's about the authority of the Speaker and this House. If these rules of COVID are mere guidelines, Mr. Speaker, then we should not have frog-marched Senator Susan Kiika, the majority whip, and Mr. Speaker, and Linturi. And they were frog-marched in our eyes, Mr. Speaker. So if the authority of this House has to be upheld, you must remain consistent, Mr. Speaker, because then otherwise, even people who are watching us out there, they just see that we are behaving in a manner that does not even respect the rules of COVID that we raised. And so, Senator Sakaja, you don't have to be condescending on me. I have seen all those things you are trying to parade. I'm raising the issue about COVID and the rules of this House.
That's exactly what I was saying, Senator Murkomen, that you are one of those who are not observing the rules. You are on your feet talking, and yet you want to seek my attention. That is not to say I'm disregarding what you have said. I still maintain that except for Farihia, who is going to move a motion in a short while, the rest, the Sergeant at Arms should be able to get them to the extended chamber. And Khaniri, the two.
Mr. Speaker, if Senator Murkomen is talking about your authority, and it's the same authority with which I have requested because of the kind of business that I am pushing this afternoon, what authority is he questioning, Mr. Speaker? And Mr. Speaker, despite that, there's no protocol that is being not observed over here. There's 1.5 meters. I have this paper, I have two statements, and I have a notice of motion and a motion, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Lance.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the... Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 16th June 2020. A report of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on the Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 24 of 2019. The report is with the clerk. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Okay. Madam Diaz.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion, the following notice of motion that pursuant to Standing Orders 252 and 255, the Senate approves the third report of the Procedure and Rules Committee on amendments of the Senate Standing Orders to facilitate virtual sittings of the Senate and its committees laid on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 16th June 2020, and pursuant to the provisions of the Article 124(1) of the Constitution and Standing Orders 255 and 257, 1, resolves to amend its standing orders as contained in Appendix 1 of the report, and 2, orders that the amendments of the standing orders as contained in Appendix 1 of the report shall come into effect upon approval. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader of Majority.
Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. Establishment of a select committee to investigate the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the governor of Kirinyaga County. That whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act 2012 and Standing Order 58 of the Kirinyaga County Assembly Standing Orders on the 9th June 2020, the County Assembly of Kirinyaga approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable Anne Mumbi Waiguru, the Governor of Kirinyaga County. And further, whereas by letter reference REF CAK SPK SEN 1001 dated 9th June 2020 and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Wednesday, the 10th of June 2020, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kirinyaga informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. And whereas pursuant to Section 33(3)(b) of the County Government Act 2012, and the Standing Order 75(1)(b) of the Senate may, by resolution, appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter in plenary. Now, therefore, pursuant to Section 33(3)(b) of the County Governments Act 2012 and the Standing Order 751(b)(1), the Senate resolves to establish a special committee comprising 1, Senator Abshiro Halake MP, 2, Senator Dr. Michael Mbito MP, 3, Senator Mwangi Paul Gidiomi MP, 4, Senator Beth Mugo EGH MP, 5, Senator Anwar Aloy Tip Tip MP, 6, Senator Philip Mpayei MP, 7, Senator Cleophas Malala MP, 8, Senator Beatrice Kwamboka MP, 9, Senator Stuart Mazayo MP, 10, Senator Judith Pareno MP, and 11, Senator Moses Kajwang MP, to investigate the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Governor of Kirinyaga County, and to report to the Senate within 10 days, pursuant to Standing Order 752, of its appointment, on whether it finds the particulars of the allegations to have been substantiated. Thank you, Speaker.
Chairman Jaylock.
Chair, you can better mention the name because up to now we are confused.
It's a notice of
We
motion.
don't know who the chair of Jaylock is. Yeah, this is why we seek guidance, Mr. Speaker. We have been very unprecedented times in this country, including this house. So when you mention or you want me to speak, say Linturi, because I don't know whether I'm vice chairman, I'm chairman, or whoever I am. And my boss is here, Chiragei, as far as I am concerned, who has not dealing directed me or assigned any duties to me, because as all vice chair on deputies, must be assigned business by their bosses.
Yes, Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, as far as I know, I was informed that I was de-whipped, so I'm no longer the chair of JAILA. I've not received any further communication from the State House appointee Majority Whip, Senator Kangata.
Point of information.
Senator Linturi, you already tabled as a vice chair, so you carry it to the end. Okay, yes. Okay, proceed. As a vice. It's a notice of motion. Okay, approach the chair.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to give notice of the following motion. That the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs, and Human Rights on the approval of Honorable Rachel Amesho for appointment as a non-member of the Parliament Commissioner to the Parliamentary Service Commission, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 16 June 2020, pursuant to Standing Order 71, and that pursuant to Article 127 2D of the Constitution and Section 9(2) of the Parliamentary Service Act approves the appointment of Honorable Rachel Amesho as a member of the Parliamentary Service Commission. Thank you.
Next order. Oh, Majority Leader.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What's your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have a notice of motion that has been approved because I've tabled the report. So kindly, can I give notice?
It's next, huh? Yeah. Majority Leader, then you'll have yours.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Speaker, I thought you said next order.
Okay. Majority Leader.
Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That notwithstanding the Senate resolutions made on 27th February 2020, approval of Senate calendar, 17th March 2020, 14th April 2020, and 2nd June 2020, alteration of the Senate calendar, the Senate, pursuant to Standing Order 29.4 and 31.3b, now resolves to hold its sittings on Tuesday, 23rd June 2020 morning, starting from 10 a.m. and ending at 12:30 p.m., and afternoon, and thereafter proceed on recess and resume sittings on Tuesday, 7th July 2020. Thank you, Speaker.
Chairman COVID.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give the following notice of motion that the House does adopt the 7th progress report of the ad hoc committee on COVID-19 situation in Kenya. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Senator Haniri.
Of order. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Well, you're already standing.
Yeah, allow me.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, when you look at the order paper, you'll see there are too many statements. if we were to go all through them, I think we'll be doing, I don't know, I think we need to take into account some members who came just for this motion. In particular, some members who specifically told us as whips, we take them into account, their interests, including curfew, including some have health issues. I ask you kindly, you rearrange the order paper. We give the motion on the issue of the impeachment of Governor for Kirinyaga priority. Thank you.
I'm going to use my discretion on the statements. What's your point of order, Senator?
Mr. Speaker, before you use your discretion to give direction, is it true that members of this House who are obligated to be in this House anyway have only come for the motion of impeachment? We have a duty as senators to be in this House. And subject to availability of sitting space, we are obligated to be here. So it cannot be true, Mr. Speaker, that there are members who have just come here for the motion of impeachment. And if they are, let them stand up and be counted, and we know who they are.
No. Yeah,
Yes.
allow me to respond to that, Mr. Speaker. And
Okay,
Mr. Speaker,
okay.
The honorable senators who are with us here, they do a lot of work both in the House and also outside in the House. There are those who go to lobby the ministry. Yeah, it is true. There are those who go to lobby for their constituents in the ministry. That is work of a senator. There are those who want to go to prepare bills. That is their work, surely, Mr. Speaker.
Order,
We
members.
need to take into account.
Order. We have to make progress, and I have said I'm going to use my discretion on that matter. So let it rest there. I'll give direction in a few minutes. Senator Haniri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My statement is on the death of John Amutabi Mwanga Nzenze. Mr. Speaker, you recall I was to make this statement last week, but we didn't get an opportunity to do it since we had a lot of business. Mr. Speaker, John Amutabi Nzenze was buried on Saturday, and I was hoping that I would do this before his burial. Nevertheless, I'll proceed. First, I would like to pass my condolences to the family and friends of the late Nzenze on the death of their patriarch, husband, father, and grandfather. Indeed, the country has lost one of the greatest pioneers of twist music. However, the death of Nzenze is actually a celebration of a life well lived. His moves, tunes, and sounds will live on with us, even though the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way we provide a decent send-off to our departed loved ones. We still have an opportunity to reflect, learn, and praise the departed. Mr. Speaker, to understand the greatness of Nzenze, one needs to reflect on twist music. Twist music is one of the earliest inventions of indigenous music styles introduced in the country even before independence by the Kenyan natives. There are numerous pioneer artists of twist music who have since passed away. They include Mzee Daudi Kabaka, Gabriel Omolo, Habel Kifoto, and now Mzee John Nzenze. They belted timeless songs like Msichana wa Elimu, Lunchtime, Christina, Angelica, among others, that had the themes of love, life, nationalism, patriotism, and development. Mr. Speaker, those of us who grew in the 70s and 80s and 60s would understand this. I'll excuse Senator Cheruiyot and Senator Cherargei, because this may sound like Greek to them. Mr. Speaker, for those who are lucky to have the old gramophone, the nostalgic memories can never fade away. A great population born in the 50s and 60s and 70s can understand the memories I am talking about. Mr. Speaker, the death of Nzenze, though painful, should serve as a reminder of the urgency we have as a country to take time and reflect on the status and handling of our history and heritage. That includes the great music compositions and artists. There are a number of issues about performing arts and artists that require urgent action to right the wrongs. One is the issue of royalty, protection of intellectual property. All artists are now media and government support to musicians. Most of the musicians in our country are living in poverty in their sunset years, and even in death, they are not assured a decent send-off. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that the Music Copyright Society of Kenya has failed to live up to its purpose of collecting royalties for and fairly handing over the same to artists. The mismanagement and corruption of music MCSK is not only illegal but also immoral. While this is a simple case of mismanagement and the government has the mechanism to correct, the concerned ministry is doing nothing. Surely, if the Music Copyright Society of Kenya, an organization established by musicians for musicians, is the source of their misery, what hope do artists have in this country? Mr. Speaker, the Cabinet Secretary of Sports, Culture, and Heritage should institute measures to preserve our heritage in the form of music and develop policies that will ensure men and women who flew our national flag high internationally are appreciated. The ministry should sponsor and spearhead the production of documentaries and establish art galleries of these great citizens, while appreciating the efforts by the Senate in the legislation of the County Hall of Fame Bill, that is the Senate Bill number 39 of 2018, it must be recognized that some of the heroes and heroines of our country deserve national recognition and support today. Today, amateur documentaries on YouTube or even the Wako Wapi series on KTN and other TV stations depict former musicians in abject poverty. Such depiction of misfortune should serve to remind us of the urgency to fast-track such important legislations. While it might not be possible to legislate on how artists spend or invest their money, it is possible to ensure that they get their fair share of royalties and provided with social protection in old age. Mzenzenze deserves a befitting tribute, like many from his generation. He sang timeless songs that are very relevant even today. He sang in perfect Swahili that had African listenership. From his days with the late Daudi Kabaka, they sang Msichana wa Elimu to Shauri Moyo, and later on independently, he sang Angelica, Bibi Agneta, Susanna, Zipporah, Bachelor, and many others. Mr. Speaker, Bachelor Boy, yes. It is so unfortunate that Kenyans will mourn a country music legend and not even spend a minute to pass condolence message to a fallen legend of twist music. Nobody will celebrate our heroes for us. As much as the government has for a very long time failed musicians in terms of providing them with special social protection, Mzenzenze should not be neglected today. There will never be another opportunity to pay him another last respect. He deserves befitting send-off. Mzenzenze was laid to rest on Saturday, 13th June, at his home in Vihiga County, Hamisi Sub-County, Kaptech. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Senator Ledama is not in the House. Honorable Senators, because of the motion that we have, I'm rearranging the order paper so that we go to order number 15. Clerk.
Order number 15, motion, establishment of a select committee to investigate the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the governor of Kirinyaga County.
Senator Faria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Motion, establishment of select committee to investigate the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the governor of Kirinyaga County. Whereas pursuant to Standing Order 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act 2012, and Standing Order 58 of the County Assembly of Kirinyaga approved a motion to remove from office by County Assembly of Kirinyaga approved a motion.
Senator Faria, you need to move the motion. Eh? Okay. Move the motion. Eh? I beg to move.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the motion.
The following.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following motion.
What's your point of order, Senator Murkomen?
Mr. Speaker, I know it is, we have only 2 years to the end of our term, but maybe, Mr. Speaker, after COVID, you need to organize a small seminar for members of parliaments to appreciate the standing order, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed, Senator Faria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I beg to move the following motion. That the establishment of... Okay. I beg to move the motion that whereas pursuant to Standing Order 181 of the Constitution, Section 30... Okay, it's distracting me. The County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order 58 of the Kirinyaga County Assembly, standing orders.
Let's consult in low tones.
Yeah, point of order.
Senators, let's consult in low tones. What's your point of order, Senator Murkomen?
Mr. Speaker, have you seen Senator Gideon Moi, Mr. Speaker? He's holding a mini rally in the corner. But more importantly, Mr. Speaker, I know you gave guidelines about COVID-19. But Mr. Speaker, are the gloves he's wearing part of the protection, and is it, because I've not seen any other senator having such kind of gloves, Mr. Speaker, and maybe you should give further direction on how we should dress in future.
Order, Senator Murkomen. The protective gear are different types. You can decide to wear a mask. You can, if a Gunia can also assist you, you can wear if it's recommended. Senator Faria, proceed.
Kirinyaga County Assembly Standing Orders on 9th June 2020, the County Assembly of Kirinyaga approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Anne Mumbi Waiguru, the Governor of Kirinyaga County. And further, whereas as by letter of reference CAK SPK /1001 dated 9th June 2020 and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Wednesday 10th June 2020, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kirinyaga informed the Speaker of the Senate of approval of motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceeding of the Assembly. Whereas pursuant to Section 33, subsection 3B of the County Government Act 2012 and the Standing Order 75-1, subsection B of the Senate may by resolution appoint a special committee comprising of 11 members to investigate the matter in plenary. And now, therefore, pursuant to Section 33(3), subsection B of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order 75-1, subsection B1, the Senate resolves to establish a special committee comprising of 1. Senator Abshiro Halake, MP; 2. Senator Dr. Michael Mbito, MP; 3. Senator Mwangi Paul Gideoni, MP; 4. Senator Beth Mogo, EGH, MP; 5. Senator Anwar Loitiptip, MP; 6, Senator Philip Mbaye, MP. 7, Senator Cleophas Malala, MP. 8, Senator Beatrice Kwamboka, MP. 9, Senator Stuart Madzayo, MP. 10, Senator Judith Pareno, MP. And 11, Senator Moses Kajwang, MP. To investigate the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the governor of Kirinyaga County and to report to the Senate within 10 days, pursuant to Standing Order 75, subsection 2 of its appointment, on whether it finds the particulars of the allegation to have been substantiated. Mr. Speaker, on several occasions, select committees have been used to conduct impeachment. And I think on 2 occasions, we have also used plenary to conduct the same. Mr. Speaker, I had an opportunity to attend both. If we remove emotions and other, people taking sides and in terms of other issues, I think because I had an advantage of being in the Sambocha Impeachment Committee, Mr. Speaker, I found that to be much more detailed, much more probing, much more investigative nature, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, because also the House Senate Business Committee had decided on the same, Mr. Speaker, for me, from the experience on both plenary and committee and through a select committee, I found that the probing was much more thorough when it was done through committee, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, and therefore I beg to move and ask Senator Cleophas Malala to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know why I'm causing a lot of excitement from the other side. Mr. Speaker,
the excitement is that you may be defending your position because you are a member of the committee, on a light note.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I beg to second this very important motion. First, because the mode in which has been proposed in this motion on how we are going to transact the impeachment motion has been provided for in our standing orders, and that is Standing Order number 75-1B, which clearly says that the Senate may, by resolution, appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, second, I second this motion because I am a member of the Senate Business Committee. Mr. Speaker, the Senate Business Committee has been very consistent in the manner in which it proposes on how such motions are transacted in this House. Many a times, the Senate Business Committee has been proposing the committee way, Mr. Speaker, which I am alive of the fact that is a matter that has to be adopted on the floor of this House. And therefore, as a member of the Senate Business Committee, that was our position. We proposed that we are going to bring forth a motion proposing membership of a committee which is going to transact this motion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it has been the tradition of this House that the business of this House will be transacted by committees. Committees will transact the business of this House on behalf of the plenary, Mr. Speaker. That is why we have 16 committees transacting various businesses of this House, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we are within the normal traditions of this House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the big question is, why committee? One, because last time we transacted the YT2 impeachment through plenary, Mr. Speaker, I was not satisfied in the manner in which we interrogated that matter on the floor of the House. One, Mr. Speaker,
the evidence adduced before this House was not deeply interrogated. We did not have enough time to peruse through the evidence, to peruse through the submission, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we turned this House into a political gathering that was just meant to make a decision. But the committee will have an opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to look thoroughly into the submissions of both parties, Mr. Speaker, make determinations, do research, and come up with a resolution that we shall bring to this House for adoption, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have seen in both print and broadcast media pressure from the Kirinyaga residents.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What's your point of order, Senator?
I don't think it is in order for Senator Malala to refer to this particular house as a political gathering when we are actually deliberating on matters to do with the benefit of the country. So I think, yeah, it's not in order.
Senator Malala, you want to respond?
Mr. Speaker, I think Senator Lagat has already made up his decision on this matter, and therefore he's not concentrating. He's just waiting to vote. I would urge Senator Langat to concentrate on what I'm saying, because I did not term this House as a political gathering. I was trying to juxtapose the benefits,
Mr. Speaker.
The benefits of us.
Well, I think yes, because the other time, okay, he was the chair and he refused even to take over during that time. So talking about juxtapositioning is not in order. He should withdraw, calling this particular very honorable House a political gathering when it comes to actually deliberating on matters which are very serious, which are very important, is not in order, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chararge.
My point of order, Mr. Speaker, is on the issue of using the word political gathering. I wish you would have said it is a Senate decision that was made like. I can assist him in a trail of thought so that he maintains the focus that he has decided to stay on. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Senator Kibiru.
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for the Speaker, the Senator who is speaking, to keep on referring to the issue of Waitito, whereas in essence he has become a professional committee member, because even in that committee he was actually a chairman of that committee, and when it was brought in here, he declined and voted against it, Mr. Speaker. So is he in order to keep on referring to that issue?
Okay. What is your point of order, Senator Murkomen?
Mr. Speaker, Senator Malala is my very good friend, and his thought was flowing. But Mr. Speaker, I don't know if it is in order for me to deduce from what he was saying that, Mr. Speaker, Senator Malala was trying to confess his past sins, and he was trying to ask for apology for the House. Because as you very well know, Mr. Speaker, Senator Malala, being a member of Senate Business Committee, sat with me, passed, Mr. Speaker, a resolution to establish a committee to investigate the matter of Waititu, and Mr. Speaker, with no explanation. And Mr. Speaker, I know the explanation too, but that explanation is for our memoirs. Mr. Speaker, he comes to the floor of the House. He had been proposed to be the chair of the committee, walks to the floor of the House, Mr. Speaker, and votes completely against the decision he made. Mr. Speaker, how do we know that if Senator Malala seconding this motion, will not, Mr. Speaker, second and then vote against it after the deliberation?
Senator Linturi, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, as we approach the future, we need to be very serious as a House, because this House is a House of record, Mr. Speaker, and it is disorderly conduct when a member takes a certain position and runs away from the same position that has been taken without any reasonable cause. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution also requires us not to participate in matters that we may have interest in. Mr. Speaker, the second of this motion, in my view, would have been pricked by his conscience to understand that since he's a member that will be looking, is a member of this committee The best thing you would have done was to keep quiet or refer to second this committee, this motion, for him to see the reaction of the other members. So what we expect him is to defend his opposition now, a position which he declined to support last time when we had the motion that was brought before this House. So, Mr. Speaker, is it in order for Senator Malala to second this motion first, when he has interest as a member of that committee? Secondly, the position that he is advancing today is a position last time he opposed, because that time he thought the committee was not necessary and did not serve his interest at that particular time, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Ledama.
Because a wise man said, only a fool does not change his
Speaker.
mind.
Where are your masks, Senator?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
It just came out.
No.
Okay. My head is too big, but it's okay. Let me repeat this again, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, a wise man said, only a fool does not change his mind. I've listened to Senator Linturi trying to point out how Senator Malala is out of order, yet we are not discussing the substance of the matter. I think he can either propose or support or oppose when we are discussing the motion. Currently, he is only seconding the motion. So can, Mr. Speaker, sir, can you please allow the distinguished senator from Kakamega to finish seconding his motion? When the motion has been properly moved, we can then now either support or oppose it and give those reasons that the distinguished senator from Meru is giving.
Okay,
Thank
Senator,
you, Mr. Speaker,
Senator Nyamunga, and then Senator Uchila Yako.
Mr. Speaker, to the best of my knowledge, I think this is the work of the House Business Committee. They are the ones who decide on the names of members to be floated in this House for the committee. So it is not a member who decides. He can't be an interested member, and he cannot choose himself to be here. And the list is not yet approved. So once the list is approved, that is when somebody can be said that they have some special interest.
Okay, honorable senators, we need to make progress. Senator Malala, I just want to caution you to be careful. Your generosity with English words may land you in a problem. Try to be careful and guard what you say. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That was expected, and we take it as it is. Mr. Speaker, we've seen the former leader of majority bringing here names to adopt in committees, and members who have been in those committees have contributed to that motion. Therefore, it is not any unique, Mr. Speaker, that I am a member of that committee and I am seconding. And by seconding, I'm trying to ask this House to support this motion so that we can go the committee way, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have read in both print and broadcast media the citizens of Kirinyaga County and the leadership of Kirinyaga County, the senator, the woman representative, the members of parliament, Mr. Speaker, giving their position and their suggestion on how they would want this matter to be transacted in this House. Mr. Speaker, in as much as we respect the position of the people of Kirinyaga, I want to assure them that their sovereign power was exercised by the members of the County Assembly of Kirinyaga, and that their aspirations were encapsulated in the motion tabled at the County Assembly. And therefore, when this matter comes to the Senate is an independent organ. The Senate is an independent institution, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we cannot be dictated by the people of Kirinyaga on how the Senate should transact. I am a member of the Senate from Kakamega County. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I would want...
What's your point of order, Senator Susan?
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for Senator Malala to continue talking with his mask off?
Try to keep your masks on, senators.
Mr. Speaker,
why don't you allow him to conclude so that then we get into the... Yes, Senator.
Mr. Speaker, this is a very serious motion.
And in 100 years' time, people will want to read what did the Senate say on this very important motion. For the last 10 minutes, people have been rising on points of order, some of it which is not grounded on any standing order. I would plead with you, and if you go by the record of this House, all the impeachment motions that have come, either to establish a committee or in the debate, people have tended to address the core issues raised in the motion or in the charges that are brought before the Senate. So I'm pleading with you because, you know, this is going to be a matter of record. And if we go on this way, we will be dealing not with a problem, but we'll be dealing with our own idiosyncrasies instead of going into the content.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order.
Okay, Senator Murkomen, the last one.
Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, and I appreciate your opportunity to give me this. Mr. Speaker, we cannot predict how many point of orders we can raise in the chambers because it's as long as a point of order, including the ones that we raised on the health issues and so forth. But this is more important, fundamental. Mr. Speaker, is it in order for Senator Malala, in moving this very important motion, to, Mr. Speaker, insinuate that, Mr. Speaker, the people of Kirinyaga have no power or authority to direct this House? When, Mr. Speaker, it is important, Mr. Speaker, when the Constitution says sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya, can the Senate of the Republic of Kenya tell off citizens of this country who pay taxpayer money for Malala to sit in this House and tell them that you have no power to dictate us? And yet, Mr. Speaker, we say all the things we do from here is because sovereign power belongs to the people.
Okay. Senator Malala, I did caution you that, and please, even as we come to discuss, remember what I said in my communication. I said it will not be a debate on the substance of the impeachment or its merits, propriety, prudence, or even the constitutionality or the legality of the process that have preceded the submission of this matter to the Senate. So stick to what is...
Mr. Speaker, the gist of my presentation was very clear, that the Senate cannot be micromanaged by certain citizens of this country. The Senate is independent, and I still stick to that fact, that we are an independent House, and we shall not be micromanaged by people seated in a certain corner thinking that this Senate can be manipulated. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask honorable members of this House to support the proposals made in this motion, Mr. Speaker, because even if you looked at the membership of this committee, I think we have honorable members who are competent enough to interrogate this matter in a fair manner, Mr. Speaker. And I don't know why some of the members here think that it is going the committee way is not going to be fair, Mr. Speaker. I think the fairest way, Mr. Speaker, is the committee way because we shall have enough time. Looking at the membership, Mr. Speaker, we have considered even regional balance. We have Honorable Beth Mugo from Nairobi, Ole Tip from the coast. We have Senator Mbito from the North Rift. We have Mpaei from the Lower Rift. We have Malala from Western, Mazayo from Coast, Senator Pareno from Masailand, and the whole country, the face of Kenya, has reflected in this committee. We have Senator Kajwang from Nyanza, Mr. Speaker, and therefore I think this is the best platform to ensure that this matter is adjudicated in a fair manner, Mr. Speaker, and we shall be setting good precedents for this House. I beg to second this motion. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, I now propose the question, which is that whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order 58 of the Kirinyaga County Assembly Standing Orders, on 9th June 2020, the County Assembly of Kirinyaga approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Anne Mumbi Waiguru, the Governor of Kirinyaga County. And further, whereas by letter reference ref CAK/SPK/SEN/1001 dated 9th June 2020 and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Wednesday 10th June 2020, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kirinyaga informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. And whereas pursuant to Section 33(3)(b) of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order 75(1)(b) of the Senate may, by resolution, appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter or investigate the matter in plenary. Now, therefore, pursuant to Section 33(3)(b) of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order number 75(1)(b)(1), the Senate resolves to establish a special committee comprising 1. Senator Abshiro Halake MP, 2. Senator Dr. Michael Mbito MP, 3. Senator Mwangi Paul Kidiomi MP, 4. Senator Beth Mugo EGH MP, 5. Senator Anwar Loitiptip MP, 6. Senator Philip Mbaye MP, 7. Senator Cleophas Malala MP, 8. Senator Beatrice Kwamboka MP, 9. Senator Stewart Mazayo MP, 10. Senator Judith Pareno MP, and 11. Senator Moses Kajwang MP. To investigate the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the governor of Kirinyaga County and to report to the Senate within 10 days, pursuant to Standing Order 75(2) and of its appointment, on whether it finds the particulars of the allegations to have been substantiated. Senator Linturi.
Mr. Speaker, I open by saying I understood your communication in terms of direction that you gave us in addressing this matter. I'm cognizant of the fact that this motion is not intended to look or interrogate the merits or the demerits.
I'll give each 5 minutes.
The merits or demerits of the motion, otherwise it will be very speculative, but we must only confine ourselves to either to the merits or demerits of either having a committee or going to plenary. Mr. Speaker, this Senate, I want to remind every member, took oath to defend the Constitution of this country, to protect it. And, Mr. Speaker, this being the case, and considering that we are here courtesy of the people that gave us this high office to exercise their authority on their behalf, and in the event that we fail to exercise diligently that authority, the public or the people have a right to go to the streets and exercise their own authority when we fail them, Mr. Speaker. That is what sovereign power and Article 1 talks about, by donating power to us to exercise it on their behalf, and in the event we don't, then they can do it themselves. So, Mr. Speaker, I have listened, I've heard the people of Kirinyaga speak. The people of Kirinyaga have spoken through their representatives. Mr. Speaker, I want to invite every senator here to look at Schedule 2, I think Schedule 2 of the Constitution of Kenya, which has clearly put, very clearly, on the oath that we take. Mr. Speaker, to remind them, the oath that we take when we are sworn in is to bear true allegiance to the people and the republic. The oath of assumption of office of governor is different from us because we serve, they are supposed to serve, truly serve the people. When you look at the Speaker, when you look at the President and his deputy, true allegiance to the people, be faithful to the people and the republic. A cabinet minister does not do that, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, because I agree that impeachment is a new phenomenon in this country, and because there is no developed jurisprudence on how this is supposed to be done, we must seize the moment to create jurisprudence in the manner in which future impeachments will be done. Mr. Speaker, Article 185 of the Constitution of Kenya lays down the legislative authority of a county to the counties. And Mr. Speaker, Article 185, sub-Article 3, one of the serious duties of the county assemblies is oversight. The County Governments Act, Section 8, Mr. Speaker, and I think subsection 8B clearly says or defines the authority of the county assembly on terms of what they need to do, what is the expected of them, and Mr. Speaker, what the county of Kirinyaga has done is within their mandate. Mr. Speaker, the motion before us, I remember, and for consistency, and I want this one to go on record, that last time I sat here and listened, and because I was a member of the committee that was proposed to impeach Governor Waitito, I kept quiet because I was listening to what the people were saying, what the distinguished senators were saying that particular day. But what is shocking me today is the change of heart of the very serious proponents of a plenary sitting to try Governor Waitito that time. I remember during the impeachment proceedings, because I spoke, I told them and I sent the answer and can bear me out, that time will come when you remember the position you are taking today, you will be required to be answerable to it. Because your governor will be brought here, your friend will be brought here, and Mr. Speaker, because this house is a house that sets precedent. It's not more than 2 months ago that this house voted unanimously to go plenary. Despite some of us, or those that opposed, were on committee because they thought committees would interrogate a matter more better than a plenary. But because of the interest that they were there, people decided not to use reason and apply a method that was best that time. So, Mr. Speaker, in view of this, and considering the pain that I can see the people of Kirinyaga speak with, if we have to support the BBI, corruption is one of the things we have to fight.
What's your point of order, Senator?
So for that, Mr. Speaker, I beg to oppose this motion of a creation of a committee and hand the House to adopt a plenary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kangata, what's your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I did not intend to interrupt my brother from Meru, my brother Wakili. Yeah, but the reason I'm doing that, I asked Mr. Speaker, you confirm whether he has used the term. People did not use reason. You know that then imputes something very negative on honorable members who rendered that verdict.
Senator Ledama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir,
Senator Wambua from the extended chamber should be approaching.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to support this motion for the following reasons. One, earlier on, Mr. Speaker, sir, during your communication, I raised on a point of order on a very serious matter in terms of the legal framework.
I'm told, Senator Omogen, you have a point of order.
It's passed. It was on the other side.
Yeah.
Point of order.
Is it a point of order or a point of information? Or?
It's a point of order, Mr. Speaker, if you may permit me. Mr. Speaker, the order paper indicates that each senator will be allocated 15 minutes to make their submission on this fairly weighty matter. And Mr. Speaker, understanding order 106, 2, the only way there can be limitation on time is if an honorable member has moved a motion for there to be limit in terms of time. I've heard, Mr. Speaker, that you have directed that debate on this issue should be limited to 5 minutes. Mr. Speaker, if you read Standing Order number 106.3, a motion seeking to limit the allocation of time to members cannot be made in the course of a debate. And Mr. Speaker, already already Senator Inturi was on the floor making his submissions. I don't want to anticipate debate, Mr. Speaker, but if this matter goes to the committee, we will not have time to make any comment. So we need time, Mr. Speaker. We watch deliberations of the House of Commons, even our neighbors in Tanzania. Elected members are given adequate time to ventilate the issues that come before the floor. That's why we were elected, all of us. So, Mr. Speaker, I want your directions, whether it's really in order for there to be a limit of 5 minutes, while the other paper talks of 15 minutes, and there has not been any substantive motion to alter the 15 minutes allocated to us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What's your point? Is it on the same or?
Mr. Speaker, I'd approach the chair, the table, Mr. Speaker, to also establish how best this can be approached. Mr. Speaker, that standing order 106, we have violated it many times because, Mr. Speaker, and we are all guilty. We are not saying you alone. We are all guilty because even us, the senators here, are the ones who run up to you and tell you, say 5 minutes or 3 minutes, we want 2 or so minutes, Mr. Speaker. But now that this has been brought substantially by the Senator Mogeni, and I totally agree. Mr. Speaker, you know, it's only in few instances in the history of the House that you have a motion of this magnitude. Then Kenyans at the moment are tuned all over. In fact, I'm told in Kirinyaga, the social places, Mr. Speaker, that have been opened up to 7:30, the people are sitting in their homes waiting this very important decision, but they are not just waiting the decision. They want to hear whether our decision is based on serious deliberations of this House. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the American Congress, if you look at, Mr. Speaker, the House of Commons, if you look at even South African Parliament, Mr. Speaker, very important. Malema, we all know Malema because of South African Parliament, because, and he's not holding any position, he's sitting back there. But, Mr. Speaker, because of deliberation of the House. Can you, Mr. Speaker, make a decision on this issue, like raised by Senator Mogeni, that allows this House to ventilate on issues so that let a senator decide if they have only 3 minutes to make comments, they make, but at least we enjoy the 15 minutes provided for by the standing orders so that we don't violate our own standing orders. And if someone is unhappy with the 15 minutes, Mr. Speaker, raise a substantive motion, a motion on it to amend. But, Mr. Speaker, to be warned that that motion cannot come at this point in time because the standing order itself says you can't raise that motion at this point. So, Mr. Speaker, legally speaking, we have actually 15 minutes to make our serious deliberation. Those who are in a hurry, Mr. Speaker, and those who have their farms to go and tend and all those other issues Senator Kangata was saying, we can excuse them. Those of us who are interested in sitting here, even if it's up to midnight, we've sat here before, Mr. Speaker, in the impeachment of Wambora, we sat here up to 10 p.m., Mr. Speaker. So if we, the few of us who are serious, Mr. Speaker, to make serious deliberations, can take our time.
Senator Kangata, what's your point of order? Then Senator Wako?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, the point of order that has been raised by the Honorable Senator from Nyamira, I beg to argue that it is misplaced. The reason being that you have already made a ruling. When I look at the standing orders, I do not see any power that the Honorable Chair has been given to vacate or review whatever findings that you have done. Number two, the powers that have been bestowed on your office by Standing Order 1, in my honest view, are enough for you to render the kind of judgment you have already rendered in terms of limiting time. And also, most importantly, Mr. Speaker, sir, we must also take into account the interest that members want to speak on this matter. And therefore, you allow as many members as possible to ventilate on this issue, and that can only be achieved if we limit time. Thank you.
Okay. I will want to say this, that I've given direction on the time, but where I notice that a member still wants to talk, I'll use my discretion to allow you to ventilate. Senator Ledama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, once again I rise to support this motion for the following reasons. Earlier on, during your communication, Mr. Speaker, sir, I rose on a point of order on a very serious constitution provision regarding the management or the authority of a county government. Article 179 of the Constitution of Kenya is very clear that the executive authority is vested and exercised by an executive committee. The honorable colleague of mine from the great people of Meru quoted Article 185 of the Constitution while he was opposing this motion. And in his submission, he said that the county assembly is given the authority to oversight. But what he forgot to say is the same thing that the Constitution in Article 179 said the executive committee. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, why I feel that a committee will be able to look at all these matters is because, yes, I agree with the colleague of mine that we will be setting precedents on how future.
What's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I think can be challenged by Senator Orengo, Murkomen, and either Wetangula. But I want to bring to the attention of Senator Lendama, if he does not really understand what that particular provision of Article 179 means. Kangata, we want you to address yourself to this. Is the executive authority of the county. Is the executive authority of the county, which is vested and exercised by executive committee, is anything that relates to the function and the office of the governor. The area that I referred the House to is the function of the county assembly, because these are run differently. So I want you to look at that particular provision and be guided that the matter in which you are addressing is about to do with the office of the governor and not the authority and work of the county assembly members.
Mr. Speaker, sir, you know, sometimes when everything is written in black and white, there's no point of trying to assume as if some people are blind. Mr. Speaker, sir, these are very weighty matters. It says executive committee, even Article 185. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, what I'm saying is that I agree with the honorable colleague of mine that we are setting a precedent. So when we set a precedent, if we so believe in this Constitution, and remember, before we start any proceeding in this House, Mr. Speaker, sir, we begin with a prayer, which clearly...
What's your point of order, Senator Cherargei?
I wouldn't want to interrupt my brother, Senator Ledama, but let me do it. So, is it in order, because I would want to invite him to look under Article 181 on the removal of governor? It does not talk about removal of county executive. So I don't read the Constitution in a selective way. Try to read it in harmonious, so that to get the framers, the decision, the substance, and the spirit and the letter of the Constitution.
Okay, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir, you know, sometimes I think some people read the Constitution upside down. I began by saying that sometimes this Constitution in itself is ambiguous. Because if you look at Article 179, and now let us look at the Article 181 that the distinguished senator from Nandi has spoken about. There are issues that are not clear. We've agreed here that we are setting a precedent. If we are indeed setting a precedent, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me tell you, then the only people who can be able to sit down and look at all the evidence, because when Article 179 says it is the executive authority is vested and exercised by an executive committee, and then proceeds again and lay out who are the members of that executive committee, unless this committee now that is being constituted in this House looks at the evidence, looks at the work or the charges, and be able to present a report to this House, there's really no way, Mr. Speaker, sir, that will be doing justice to the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, when you take oath of office, Mr. Speaker, sir, can you protect me from the distinguished members? When they were contributing,
okay,
I was silent and I was listening to them.
Let us consult in low tones.
So, Mr. Speaker, sir, if I'm a threat because I'm exercising, I'm reading the Constitution properly, then so be it. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, in my support on this motion, I just feel like we can really serve this country well. We should always be guided by the rule of law and the Constitution. I know this House does not interpret the Constitution. We make the laws. But where there's some sort of ambiguity, it doesn't hurt for us to be able to give it to our members, whom we respect very well. I've listened to the composition of those members. They are distinguished lawyers, respected lawyers, who can then be able to take the time and guide this country. Article 96 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, is very clear, that this Senate protects the interests of the counties and their governments. So really, if we are clear and we are sincere to the oath of office that we took, and to the prayer that you read every single day when we enter this office, or these chambers, then, Mr. Speaker, the only way is that for us to be objective is to allow a committee to be able to guide us, look at the volumes of documents which will be presented here. The last time, Mr. Speaker, when we were prosecuting the matter of the Governor Waitito, I just felt like there are things that maybe we didn't do right. But the only thing that consoled me was the fact that when I looked at the same constitution, which I'll refer you to, Article 179, the deputy governor had bolted from the get-go. When you go to Article 179(7), it clearly says that when now we exercise the provision of Article 181, the committee members will also lose their offices. So the only reason why I was consoled, and I said it is fair for us to proceed the plenary way that time, is because already in that executive committee, there was one member who was not part of that government, although he was elected. And he was also appointed to be the deputy governor. So, Mr. Speaker, because of the interest of this matter, I want to summarize as follows. Only a committee will be able to give the people of Kirinyaga justice. Only a committee will be able to guide us for all future impeachments, so that when we are punishing somebody, let us not be selective, but be objective. Because, Mr. Speaker, the last I checked, a governor doesn't sit in a tender committee. The last I checked, Mr. Speaker, a governor doesn't write checks or go to the bank to give out money. So, Mr. Speaker,
you are getting into the substance of...
Now, to conclude on that, I fully support the distinguished members who have been selected by the House Business Committee to represent this House in doing the hard work. Our work will be so simple. It will be to read the report, and then if we find that the Honorable Governor from Kirinyaga has a case to answer, then we follow the law. If she doesn't, then we give the people of Kirinyaga justice. I support.
Senator Wambua.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I don't know what the cause of excitement is. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you really for this opportunity to contribute to this motion. Mr. Speaker, I want to begin by reminding us that the motto of the Parliament of the Republic of Kenya clearly states that both houses of Parliament exist to push forward the welfare of society and the just government of the people. The Speaker, the people of Kirinyaga County are crying out for justice from the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. The Speaker, they define that justice differently according to the different segments of that society. But all of them are crying out for justice. Mr. Speaker, Governor Anne Mumbi Waiguru is crying out for justice from the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. I don't know how she has defined that justice, but she wants justice. Mr. Speaker, the matter for determination before this Senate today is not a simple matter. It's a very weighty matter. It is a public issue, Mr. Speaker. There is nothing private about the decision that the Senate will make today on the process that we're going to use in determining the impeachment process of Governor Waiguru. So, Speaker, I have listened very carefully to the voice of almost the entire elected leadership of Kirinyaga County. They have made their position very clear about what the expectations are. The Speaker, I have listened and taken the liberty to consult very widely and listen to the voice and the reasoning of the great people of Kitui County on what position they want their senator to take on this matter, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker, I have followed opinion in both mainstream and social media on what this country wants. Mr. Speaker, if this Senate will choose to benefit from the opinion of one of the most senior journalists, a journalist of long and good standing, in the name and character of Senator Enoch Wambua, the people of the Republic of Kenya want plenary. Yes. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't matter what the outcome of the process will be. Yes. But we are a house that pushes forward the agenda of devolution, and in it, Mr. Speaker, we advocate for inclusivity. We want to listen to the different views on the same subject. We want as many people to state their positions on a matter before we make a decision, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if the worry of those who are pushing the committee route is that there will be limited time for senators to ventilate on this matter, Mr. Speaker, then I would say, Mr. Speaker, we are not bound by a single day. We can sit for 2 or 3 days in plenary, Mr. Speaker, and transact this matter. But we give an opportunity to every senator to contribute to this matter, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker, at some point, I don't see my friend, my brother, the senator for Kakamega. I heard him say something about this Senate being coerced or pushed to make a decision by the people of Kirinyaga. Mr. Speaker, I must say that is a very unfortunate statement. Mr. Speaker, the Senate of the Republic of Kenya does not exist in a vacuum. Yes. Public opinion must always shape the decisions that we make. Because the public, we are here to transact public business. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I oppose the committee.
Senator Ochila Yako, then
Mr. Speaker, just for the record, I oppose the motion for the establishment of a committee to process the impeachment of Governor Anne Mombi Waiguru. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute to this important matter. Now, Mr. Speaker, I've also been listening to my colleague senators and the public out there. Mr. Speaker, the common denominator of what they are saying is that they want justice. Now, Mr. Speaker, I happen to be fortunate that I'm a trained lawyer, and I went to one of the best universities in Kenya, University of Nairobi, not just once, twice. I also went to Kenya School of Law, the only school of law in Kenya that enables us to be advocates. So I know what justice is. I know when you seek justice as a person aggrieved, you can also not insist on a particular process unless you do not want to afford the other side justice. Justice is for both parties who seek it. And therefore, as I listen to the people of Kirinyaga, to the extent that I can do it as Ochilo, I guarantee that I will give them justice. But they should also be open to the fact that the other side also are in need of justice. What is important in a judicial process or a process of justice is an open hearing where both parties are given opportunity to present evidence, to present documents, and to invite witnesses to support their case. And in my view, Mr. Speaker, a select committee would be the most suitable to do that. Already here is plenary, and plenary, all of us, other than listening, we are entitled to raise points of order. I can assure you the 67 of us, if we were to raise points of order in the intensity that our colleague Senator Murkomen is doing, and is entitled to do it, there would be no hearing in that plenary. That plenary will be charged, and I can assure you the senator from Migori is light-footed. He will rise frequently on point of orders. So nothing will be heard in that plenary. If we want to hear these people of Kirinyaga, and I believe they have a cogent case.
What is your point of order, Senator Murkomen?
The Speaker, I respect my colleague, Senator of Migori Ochilo Yako. I witnessed, Mr. Speaker, his second coming at the University of Nairobi. And we were in the same class. I was standing, he was seated. But Mr. Speaker, what is very important is that, Mr. Speaker, we should not allow the argument he's making, which is misleading, about a plenary proceeding that is not orderly. There will be point of orders. Mr. Speaker, there are rules already that have been applied in this House, twice in the two impeachments that happened in the plenary. And Mr. Speaker, you remember even in the Waititu situation, there are no interruptions given to the lawyers to proceed and so forth. So he can make his argument for the committee, but Mr. Speaker, not also bastardize the whole procedure that involves the process of the House.
Point of order,
Yes,
Speaker.
what's your point of order, Senator Orengo?
Mr. Speaker, a point of argument can never be out of order. In fact, he is suggesting arguments that Ochilo Ayako should, propose. Now, those are his Ochilo Ayako's arguments, his opinion. So you cannot impose opinion of another member on another member who has got a different opinion. That's not a point of order. Otherwise, if you have the same opinion, we'll not be debating. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we better go to the substance instead of points of order which had no basis. In fact, there's one time, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Marende insisted that when you stand on a point of order, cite the starting order first, and then you continue from there. But the way we're operating, everything is a point of order. Everything is a point of order.
Let's allow Senator Ochilo. What's your...
Mr. Speaker, they'll take all my time, Mr. Speaker, and everybody's interested to talk. Now, Mr. Speaker, justice is about a fair hearing. Justice is a process. Justice is about all that. The mandate of Senate is to legislate. The mandate of Senate is to carry out oversight, to allocate funds to counties, and also to impeach wayward governors. Now, if you look at legislation, we do it through committees. If you look at oversight, we do it through committees. If you look at allocation of finances, we do it through committees. Now, when we are saying that we want to try and listen and investigate a particular governor, a committee is being recommended here. If we really think that Senate is useless, why do we do those other important functions through committees? I believe that members of the Senate who have been appointed to those committees are people who have merited being in Senate. They are people of character, people of substance, and if members who constitute other committees are also people of substance, I do not see why there is hula baloo about going the committee route. I have had occasion to be a member of a committee that was listening to matters Taita Taveta when the governor came before Senate. And I can assure you, we arrived at a decision. I have seen people talk negatively about those decisions, but the other side did not even present evidence for prosecution. They did not show up. So I want to, Mr. Speaker, encourage all of us to believe in Senate. We must believe in our committees. we must believe in membership of those committees and support them. Today, tomorrow, we'll have a committee made up of other members. The undertone here is that some members are suspicious of other members being part of that committee, and they would rather do it themselves. Why can't they belong to House Business Committee? Why do they trust House Business Committee? Why do they trust those other committees in respect of which they are not members? So let us believe in ourselves, let us believe in the institution of Senate, and let us believe that members who are in those committees have a right to be there and can do the job as well as any of us. Mr. Speaker, I have heard the people of Kirinyaga with a lot of sympathy. And I am actually concerned and I am humbled that they are petitioning this House. The assurance that they will get from me and members in this House is that that committee will do its work. That work will be done publicly. That work will be done with opportunity being given to anybody who has information that would help that committee arrive at the correct position. So if the public of Kirinyaga, including the elected leaders who were attacking other leaders who cannot defend themselves, if they have information that is relevant to that committee, that is the place to take that information. That is the place to prosecute that information. And that committee, I can say, whenever I will get opportunity to talk to them because they are my colleagues, is to encourage them to vindicate the dignity of Senate, that Senate can do justice through a committee or through plenary. So that is very important. What I am apprehensive about, Mr. Speaker, and this is just my concluding remark, is that some people take it out there that the independence of Senate is something that they own and work with. The independence of Senate is for Senate to listen to them, to listen to everybody. The independence of Senate does not mean that Senate does not listen to them. But if they make decisions out there and say Senate must abide by that decision, then there is no need for Senate. They should have just removed that governor from that place and made it a fait accompli. Senate is here to listen to the parties that are interested in the outcome of this matter, and I believe that a committee provides valuable time. A committee provides an atmosphere where all the persons who are presenting evidence can do so without intimidation. When we are seated here as a fully constituted Senate, we are quite intimidating. In fact, we are scaring. Witnesses who come before us and they see this number of fellows, including very important senators like my brother and friend, Senator Murkomen, Senator Orengo, Senator Wako, they could be scared. So it is important if these people are given an opportunity to appear before a panel of 11, present without intimidation the facts that they have. And that panel of 11 will bring to us their findings so that we make a well-researched decision, which will be the interest of the Senate. In conclusion, I hope that committee will vindicate the image of Senate and give convincing reasons for their finding, whatever finding they will arrive at. Thank you very much, Mr.
Senator Ndwiga.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, this House today is seized with a very important task, the task of determining whether the accusations of the governor of Kirinyaga will be heard by the committee of this House or will be heard by the plenary of this House. Mr. Speaker, whereas I have no problem with the members of the committee chosen, and I have no problem with the committee system, Mr. Speaker, I want to persuade this House to listen to the people of Kirinyaga. Because, Mr. Speaker, I know the committee will give us a report. What we are looking for, what the people of Kirinyaga want is justice.
Point of information,
what
Mr.
the governor
Speaker.
wants is justice.
Point of information.
Does he want to be informed?
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, I want to inform the public, or my good friend,
the member on the floor, not the public.
Yeah, and distinguished senator, however much we want to agree, the information that is not known out there is that in the event that the commitment has not returned a guilty verdict, then the report does not come to the chamber, does not come to the House. So the Senate will not have an opportunity. So it's important so that we are clear in our mind.
Yes.
No.
Thank you.
Order.
Mr. Speaker. Okay.
What's your point of order, Senator Mutula Kilonzo?
Mr. Speaker, the senator who spoke last has misled the House. And it's so unfortunate because he's the vice chairman of the Legal Affairs Committee. The gentleman who was on the floor, who he was purporting to inform, was the chair of the Samboja Committee. And the report was brought here. Is it in order for a member to stand up and mislead the House? The report was tabled. Is it in order?
Order, members. Order, members. Order, what I know. Order. Let me put this on record. If the committee finds allegations substantiated, then the report will still come here and a vote will be taken. If the allegations are not substantiated, it was over, the report, it will be tabled, but there will be no further debate on the matter. It dies there. Yeah. That's just for noting. The report will come for noting.
Point of order.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Directed.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I thank you. Please, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Let us order.
This is my time, and I want Professor.
What's your point of order, members? Order.
Yeah.
Not on the same.
Point of order.
Not on the same.
Yeah, please protect me, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
What's your point of order, Senator?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think it's important for the public to note. God, my mask. You're not complaining about other people's mask, only mine. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'd like to request you.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to request you to be a bit clear on your directive. And for this reason, if a report is tabled in this parliament, nothing stops a member from this house to be able to ask you to give a detailed ruling. Mr. Speaker, sir, on your communication, we invite you to give us a ruling on a point of order. There are precedents in this court, in this parliament, Mr. Speaker, sir. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, let us be clear. When we are informing the public, or when we're informing the member who was speaking, Mr. Speaker, sir, let us not lie to the public that we do not have the power to be able to raise issues on that report.
Senator Murkomen.
Mr. Speaker, I think we should raise this. I'm really surprised that even Senator Mutula would fall into the same trap. I would have expected, Mr. Speaker, him to appreciate further because we've been here longer. Mr. Speaker, Section 33 of the County Government Act, which, Mr. Speaker, I was privileged to participate in its drafting, provides that, Mr. Speaker, in Section 33(5), if the special committee reports that the particulars of an allegation against the governor have not been substantiated, further proceedings shall not be taken under this section in respect of the allegation or in respect to the allegations. So, Mr. Speaker, you are correct, you are right. We must tell the public the reason why there is a clamor here between whether it's the plenary or whether it's the rest of the House is because the senators who are here know very well that if a committee is chosen and for whatever reason they go and clear the governor, that is the end of the matter. It will never come back to this House. And the reason why the people of Kirinyaga are crying that let it come to the House is because they are saying instead of subjecting it to 11 senators to make that very important decision, they want the 67 senators to make that decision. That's all.
I think the matter is clear. Let Senator Ndwiga continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that argument is, and like Senator Junior says, I was the chair. I was privileged by this House to chair the Committee on Samboja. And it is true, Mr. Speaker, that if the committee finds there is no incriminating evidence against the governor, that's the end of the matter. Mr. Speaker, and that is why Kirinyaga people are crying out to this House. Mr. Speaker, I am not saying that there will be no justice if the matter goes to the committee. But Mr. Speaker, justice is done. But justice should be seen to be done. And that's what the people of Kirinyaga expect. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, those of us here, we have a lot of respect for the senators who've been appointed to this committee. But Mr. Speaker, the people of Kirinyaga, and by the way, the people of Kenya, throughout this republic, are waiting to hear the verdict of this House, which way this House goes. And Mr. Speaker, I want to advise the political players, particularly the party leaders, watch out. This space, Mr. Speaker, is not as steady as you think. It is very slippery. 2 years down the road, we will need the people. And 2 years down the road, Mr. Speaker, Kirinyaga people are unlikely to forget what you did to them if you don't go the way they want. Mr. Speaker, sir.
On a point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What's your point of order, Senator Orengo?
Which point of order? Which point of order?
Order,
Since
Senator
the Speaker
Ndwega.
has been allowing points of order.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker, we are not seeking vengeance, we're seeking justice. So justice has got two sides. The people of Kirinyaga have got their expectations. But the issue before the Senate is not about what is being said out there. The issue before the Senate is what is being presented before the Senate. Facts are stubborn. Now, we may as well go and have a baraza in Kirinyaga. That is an alternative. But our rules say we must stick here.
It's on a point of order.
Mr. Speaker,
What's your point of order, Senator Chariot?
Mr. Speaker, it will be of great interest to this House for Senator Orengo, who has been a leading crusader this afternoon, and I agree with him, for us to be adherent to the provisions of our standing orders every time we rise on a point of order. Will he be more gracious and inform us which standing order Senator Njeru Ndwiga violated as such that led him to stand?
Because according to the County Government Act, the Constitution, and the schedule to the standing orders, the parties who are before the House, before the Senate, and I invite you to look at the schedule particularly, and even the County Government Act, the parties that are going to appear before you are the governor and the county assembly. And you're going to administer the cases presented by these two parties. Now, if you want to bring in a third party, then we're not talking about the case which has been filed before the Senate. And I've quoted the schedule, the standing orders which flow from the Constitution, and I think we better take it seriously.
Senator Njeru Ndwiga.
I thank you.
Proceed.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have a lot of respect for Senator Orengo, but if he had waited, he would have heard me say that even the governor of Kirinyaga also expects justice from this House. Also expects justice. The people of Kirinyaga have spoken through their elected representatives, first the MCAs. Now we are here. When we are elected, Mr. Speaker, each one of us is elected in our counties, wherever we come from. But the moment we come here, we represent those counties, but we are national leaders inside here. So, Mr. Speaker, my plea to the House is please, and I've just come from that side of the House, please, of the country, is please, let us listen to the people. We are here representing the people, and the people of Kirinyaga, and the governor of Kirinyaga is also a person of Kirinyaga. Let us listen to the people. And the people of Kirinyaga have said, unequivocally, Mr. Speaker, that they expect. It is the way justice is dispensed. They expect that the plenary of this House will listen to this case. And if this case is heard in plenary, it will vindicate the governor if she is innocent. But the people of Kirinyaga will have seen that government, that justice was served in the right way. If we go the other way, Mr. Speaker, if we go the other way, and then you go and vindicate the governor, can you ask yourself this question? How is she going to operate in Kirinyaga thereafter? Ask yourself that question. And this, Mr. Speaker, I will say because Senator Orengo was here, Senator Mutura, and Senator Murkomen, when you impeached my governor 3 times, the Embu governor 3 times. I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, that for 5 years, Embu was at a standstill. It was. Let us not drive Kirinyaga that direction. I am pleading, Mr. Speaker, with you, my colleagues in this House, that first let us listen to the people.
What's your point of order, Senator?
Because it is the people.
Mr. Speaker, Senator Ndwiga is my chair in our committee, so I've got immense respect for him. But we have a rule in our standing orders about anticipating debate and anticipating the outcome of a process. It gives me the impression that he's anticipating that one approach will lead to a certain end and another shall lead to another end. Is it proper for a very distinguished senator and a long-serving member of parliament to anticipate debate and the decision of this House?
Mr. Speaker, if my good friend, Senator Kajwang, listened to me, I did not say where this happens. I said if. If, Mr. Speaker, the plenary vindicates the governor, right? The governor will be free to walk around everywhere and say, yes, I was listened to by the plenary. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the people around, people in this Senate, these are very sober-minded. These are people, if you put all of them together, these are people who can listen and make a decision. I am not saying a committee will not do that. But, Mr. Speaker, my problem, my worry, Mr. Speaker, is that already the people who will be affected by the decision made by this Senate are the people of Kirinyaga. And they have cried to you and said, please, we want this to be heard by the Senate. Mr. Speaker, this is not to say that the committee will not do justice to this matter. That's not what we are saying. But it is the way, it's the way it is perceived by the people whom that justice is meant to serve. And Mr. Speaker, the Kirinyaga people have really cried everywhere, in media, through messages, through wherever. And I say that it's not a threat. That for those of us, for those who are in political parties, that you want to be talking to the people, this is the time. Mr. Speaker, I support the President of this Republic. And he says he fights corruption. He wants to fight corruption. And he wants to uphold the rule of law. This is where we are, Mr. Speaker. For me, Mr. Speaker, this afternoon, I am saying we want justice to be seen, to be done. And that is why I am inviting honorable members. Let us go the plenary route, because that's what the people are asking. Yes. And it's not because that there's anything wrong with the committee, but the fact that the people of Kirinyaga want plenary. And all of us have heard that. How do people ask you and your leaders? How do people get you and ask you that this direction you want to go and you deny that direction? Mr. Speaker, we can have all the arguments for the committee, but we all know that if the people want another option, let us give them the option that they want, so that even us as a Senate will be vindicated. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker, So I beg to oppose vigorously the setting up of this committee. And setting up of this committee. I am a neighbor of Kirinyaga, and I've been around these houses for some time. Mr. Speaker, listen to me.
Senator Mtula Kilonzo Jr.
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have sat patiently and listened to everybody. We are aware of the comments made by leaders from Kirinyaga. We have seen videos from leaders of Kirinyaga purporting, Mr. Speaker, that members of the Senate are corruptible. Mr. Speaker, for the first time, and Mr. Speaker, I was hoping that you'd make a comment about this. I found in your office a letter, a message, whatever it was, signed by Kirinyaga leaders, seeking your direction that this House adopts a plenary. Mr. Speaker, those who do not know and those who know, these are interested parties in a dispute. When you're an interested party in a dispute, you do not choose the judge. You do not choose the forum. In legal parlance, we call it forum shopping. On that ground alone, I cannot support the insistence. I cannot support the insistence, Mr. Speaker, that you must go the Kirinyaga way. Because we will confirm two things. One, the members of this Senate, without exception, are subject to corruption. Number two, the members of this Senate are subject to influence. Number three, the people of Kirinyaga's views, and I'm surprised, Mr. Speaker, there is no format of seeking public participation when we are making motions. Who gave these members of this House a right to go and conduct public participation before the debate? How do we gauge who they spoke to and what they said? How do we know the ones who oppose what they said? Mr. Speaker, the argument.
Speaker.
What's your point of order?
I heard like Senator Mutura Jr., whom the people of Kirinyaga are waiting to hear what he says because they have a lot of respect for him, indeed say that there was a letter that said that senators are corrupt. Please table it.
There's a book, by the way, where there's a book I should prescribe for you. It's called Listening More and Talking Less. Listen, I said there's a video. That video was even posted on our WhatsApp group of a leader from Kirinyaga. I'm going to stand here and say, Mr. Speaker, that the issue of Kirinyaga pales in the shadow of the issues that Senator Dulo and Senator Wetangula are handling on the medical leasing. Have we accused them of corruption?
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
The report has not been issued. Mr. Speaker.
What's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. must, Mr. Speaker, stick to the standing orders. This House, Mr. Speaker, under Standing Order 96, if you make an allegation, you must substantiate. And Mr. Speaker, it is clear from your rulings and also from the standing orders, you cannot import social media videos, newspaper cuttings, and Mr. Speaker, come and make them as, Mr. Speaker, absolute truth here. You either substantiate or you withdraw and apologize.
Yes, Senator Mutula.
There's nothing to withdraw. Please, let's ignore Senator Murkomen for a chance. Mr. Speaker, that video, if Mr. Murkomen, who is so famous for posting all sorts of things on our platform, needs substantiation, he should go to the platform. That video is on the platform. I'm not going to substantiate anything. It's there.
What's your point of order, Senator Cheriot?
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Speaker, we're beginning to lose it. And it's really unfortunate if you allow this to happen. You're the Speaker, you preside over this House. If you allow the kind of exchanges that Senator Mutula want to push and bandy around in this House, where he responds to a member and says, even if standing order number 96 demands that I substantiate, I'm not going to do it, that there's no basis for anybody rising against him, you're setting a very dangerous precedent. Senator James Orengo, Mr. Speaker, raised a very important issue, which I had hoped that perhaps you'll give us a ruling on. That for every time that people, that senators rise on points of order, they will state the particular standing order in which the member who's on the floor has violated. Senator Murkomen, in compliance with that, has set a precedent. He has given you standing order number 96, which Senator Mutula Kilonzo has violated. Instead of following in the good practice that has been set, thanks to the intervention of Leader of Minority, you have allowed the Speaker who's on the floor to dismiss him so casually. Mr. Speaker, please do not allow this to pass. Make a determination on that point of order. Senator Mutula Kilonzo must either substantiate or withdraw as per our standing orders.
Senator Sakaja.
Mr. Speaker, I rarely agree with Senator Murkomen, and I rarely disagree with Senator Mutula. But today, Mr. Speaker, because of the record and the rules of this House, our standing orders are not suggestions. Our standing orders cannot be taken casually, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, standing order 94, in fact, Senator Murkomen was wrong. It's not 96, it's 94. It talks about responsibility for statement of fact, Mr. Speaker. And it says, a senator shall be responsible for the accuracy of any facts that the senator alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any such fact instantly. Mr. Speaker, let us maintain the integrity, the credibility, and the honor of this House. If such a statement cannot be substantiated, my brother, Mutula, kindly withdraw and apologize. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Other members, let us...
That same standing order says that I don't have to substantiate today, I can even do it at another session. But, Mr. Speaker, the existence of the video is something that I can produce at any time if you ask me to do so, because it's a matter of public record. And in fact, if I offer Kenyans the opportunity to send that video to me right away, they will. Mr. Speaker, allow me to proceed.
So for us to be, okay, other members.
We can substantiate later.
Okay, for us to be consistent, yes. I will give you 24 hours
excellent.
To be able to substantiate.
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
To a point of order, Senator, Leader of Majority.
One. Speaker, and if we follow this, Speaker, all these disruptions will not be there. Any senator may raise a point of order at any time during the speech of another senator, stating that the senator raises a point of order and that the senator shall be required to indicate the standing order upon which the point of order is based. And so, Mr. Speaker, if we are going back to beginning to embrace our own rules, Mr. Speaker, then let's begin from here. It makes your work easier, Mr. Speaker, because, Mr. Speaker, if you move on, Speaker, to 96, you'll find a lot about the content of our speeches and what we cannot do. But, Mr. Speaker, let's begin from where disruptions and interruptions about everything becoming a point of order by sticking to that number 93 one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Senator Mutula.
Thank you, Speaker. I was on my second point, and I have insisted that, and I urge members to look at the Wambora Supreme Court ruling. The Wambora Supreme Court ruling, first of all, affirmed the work that was done by Senator Murkomen then in the Wambora Committee. But more importantly, that court said that we are an appellate court. So I've urged restraint, and that's the reason, Mr. Speaker, I've said, I, standing here, since I have no evidence of a senator who is corrupt, Mr. Speaker, I must continue saying that Senate must continue working through its committees. I was on the floor when I was suggesting that the committee led by Senator Fatuma Dulo and the committee deputized by Senator Wetangula is dealing with a transaction worth billions and billions of shillings. Mr. Speaker, Senator Linturi, Senator Kajwang, and Senator Wamatangi were accused of very unlawful things by the owner of Ruaraka. What was the reason? Mr. Speaker, the reason was they didn't want that report to come here. We allowed that report to come here. Whatever happened to it, happened. But we defended the integrity of the senators. There's a lie down. We were offered money. And I'm talking about a lot of money. We did not, and they were intimidated. Intimidated. Four of us either agreed to the intimidation or refused, including the senator of Nakuru. They never signed the report. We signed the report, including Senator Sakaja, and they know. We have withstood intimidation. We have withstood offers for bribes. We have withstood pressure from the powers that be, state, deeper, or whatever it is. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, allow me to proceed.
Proceed, Senator.
I'm glad that Senator Murkomen agrees with me and laughs. But it's not a laughing matter. Because he knows very well that in the case of Ruaraka, for purposes of a committee, we tabled a report. He knows what happened. He knows what happened. And I will not repeat because it's on record. Mr. Speaker, this afternoon, Kenyans are watching. They want to see whether we will shoot ourselves in the foot by attempting to pretend, Mr. Speaker, that either of the other produces a better result for purposes, and the ones who are saying plenary are saying that is equal justice. Senator Wan Sakaja, who says he doesn't disagree with me, is sitting in two committees, one of COVID. We have entrusted this good gentleman, together with Senator Kasanga, to go around the country to collect views on our behalf. Nobody has made an allegation against them. There's a gentleman seated here, Senator Yusuf Haji, who has chaired a committee for the last 8 years. Why haven't we accused him of anything? Mr. Speaker, the reason, yes.
Do you want to be informed?
By Senator Sakaja,
yes. Of course, Mutula is my brother. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to inform Senator Mutula that the committee I chair and deputized by Senator Kasanga brings a report to this House every week, including today. The issue with this committee, we are saying, Mr. Speaker, is that if it rules one or another, it will not bring a report. That is the difference. That is the only difference, Mr. Speaker.
That's the problem. That's the problem of allowing some of the people who are your brothers to give you unuseful information. Mr. Speaker, it's just unuseful information for what I was saying. You're not helping. Mr. Speaker, we want to investigate and get to the bottom of this matter. This afternoon, I have this book. This book is all the impeachment records of the Senate. Why do you think it's this big, Mr. Speaker? It's because we have sat in several committees and we have something we can look up to. The reports of plenaries, including Gachagua, including the late Gachagua and including Waititu. If you want to read, you'll find nothing here. Nothing useful for the Senate. If you want to help Kirinyaga, and I'm telling you because I know, there are 4 impeachments coming. One from Western, one from Central, and some other places, Eastern, and Coast. Don't get excited because you think Kirinyaga is the magnus opus of impeachments. We are going to get much more. You will get a committee, you will get an opportunity. Lastly, let me say this. Let me finish. Allow me to finish, Mr. Speaker. Shakespeare said, though this be madness, there is a method to it. This Senate has found a method to interrogate serious, intricate issues. If we walk away from such methods, which ourselves have agreed to do them, I expect all the chairpersons of committees to resign. Because They are both either incompetent, corrupt, and cannot deliver. Simple. Thank you. I support the committee. Thank you.
Senator Kibiru, order members, Senator Kibiru, then Senator Abshiro from the extended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, I would want to start by seeking your indulgence. One is that I may not be very comfortable or good in the gap of this language called English. I'm not the man who mobilized the language and took it to war. But I want to be allowed to speak in whatever form I can so that I can tell the honorable senators what is it that the people of Kirinyaga are saying. That's one. Two, Mr. Speaker, I also would want to seek your indulgence so that you can add me 1 or 2 minutes.
What's your point of order, Senator Kajwang?
Mr. Speaker, in our standing order, we have a rule. No, I'm talking about what Senator Kibiru has said. I have a lot of respect for him. We have worked with him in the Public Accounts Committee. Him and I, he knows my views on his county.
Take your seat, Senator.
My only question is, you need to give us direction, Mr. Speaker. Even though the standing orders talk of conflict of interest being pecuniary or proprietary, yes, but we have established a precedence in this House that when you have an impeachment motion against the governor of your county, you kind of, stand down. It is not in the standing orders, because I don't believe that Senator Kibiru has pecuniary or proprietary interest. But, Mr. Speaker, you need to advise us, because sometimes it could muddy the water when it is your county that is being tried before the Senate. Is it in order for Senator Kibiru to actively participate in this debate to persuade the House to go one way or the other? In the impeachment motions that have sat through in this House, and have sat through about 3, the senators of the counties involved stood down, Mr. Speaker.
I think order members, some things like we don't need to spend a lot of time. No, order, Senator Murkomen. I mean, the chair. I was going to say it's a personal choice for whichever senator. If you, in your conscience, you feel that you don't want to contribute because of whatever reasons, it's up to you. So I leave it to the discretion of
if you allow me.
Yes, Murkomen.
For the record, what the senator of Homa Bay is saying is not true. Senator of Kiambu spoke, Senator Wamatangi, the CS of Health spoke when Nyeri issue was brought here. The senator of Embu then spoke when the issue was brought here. I don't remember a situation where the senator didn't speak, because it's a matter of extremely public importance from where anyone is coming from as a senator.
Okay, Senator Kibiru.
Mr. Speaker, I want to speak even more so because people have kept on referring to what the people of Kirinyaga are saying. And indeed, I have the mandate, and by the way, as the only independent senator in the Republic of Kenya, to talk on behalf of the people of Kirinyaga. So, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to say that Kirinyaga is a county that has over 600,000 people. Mr. Speaker, in that county, we have close to 100 sub-locations. And for us to be able to articulate issues of Kirinyaga, we normally move around and ask, what is it that has been happening? And Mr. Speaker, I want to urge and say, I'm not saying, and I don't want to persuade anybody here to say that the governor is guilty. The only thing that the people of Kirinyaga are saying is that senator, and they sent me, they called me, and they have been persuading me as their senator and a person elected to represent them. They have been telling us, Senator, can you please persuade the Senate to let us, especially as MCAs, come in front of them, because we would want to listen to what Moswaka would say. We would want to listen to what Mutura would say. We would want to listen to what James Olengo would say. They would want to listen to what Pogisio would say. These people will not be in the committee. So they will not have the mandate even to talk about the process that the people of Kirinyaga have used. So the people of Kirinyaga are not saying anybody is guilty. They are saying, this is a learning process. We would also want to come to the Senate and learn where we have made a mistake, we will be explained. Where we have done well, we will be told that this is the correct position. Because like somebody said, like Senator Linturi said, we are setting out issues of how we can move on issues of impeachment. I like the way Mutura Jr. is saying that he has documented. This is also a learning process. Most of my fellow senators here have only participated probably only on Waitito's issue. I'm lucky. I've participated in a committee and have participated in the plenary. So I know the merits and the demerits. I don't need to be educated on the merits and demerits of the two. But more importantly, yes, please, can I be informed?
What is your point of information?
A point of information to Senator Kibiru, because he has raised a very important point, Mr. Speaker, where he was comparing the success rate of a committee vis-a-vis that of a plenary. Senators handled 10 impeachments, Mr. Speaker. 7 by committee, 3 by plenary. The 3 that was done in plenary, 2 of them were successful. The 7 that were done by committee, only 1 went through. So he is right. I want to inform Senator Kibiru that you are right in your assertions that plenary is the way to go.
Point of order. Point of order.
I appreciate the information I've gotten from my good friend Alon.
Point of order.
What is your point of order, Senator?
Mr. Speaker, you heard the Senator for Kericho say that 2 have been successful. Would I be in order to ask the meaning of success? Because this is something very important. We are talking about justice. What is the meaning of success according to the parlance of Senator Arun Cheriot, the brother of Moses? And I have respect for him.
Mr. Speaker, if I proceed, before I lose my line of thinking, is that, thank you, George, the Honorable Senator for Migoli, the people of Kirinyaga, the young MCAs, who also went to the university that you went, but they are inexperienced in a certain way, they would want to listen to you. You are not in this committee. They would really want to hear you talk the way you are talking when they are standing there. It's a milestone for them. And I want to repeat again, nobody is saying that the governor is guilty. And I will never want to persuade you to see it from that perspective. The point the people of Kirinyaga are asking is, please don't make this place look like what in 1989, April, one person said that decency has been thrown out of the house. We want to start by the words of the late Vice President of this Republic, the Honorable Professor Saitoti, where on 18th March 2002, he stood up and said that there comes a time when the nation is bigger than an individual. And he went further and said, there also comes a time when an individual will be called to make a personal decision. I don't want to dwell into the issues that have been undergoing since this issue came into the Senate. But I can tell you, we are no fools. We did not come to Nairobi the other day. We know what has been happening. That one you can take to the bank. And I want to stand here and history will absorb me. I want to tell the people of Kirinyaga, look at this committee.
Do you want to be informed by Senator Kinyua?
Yes.
Bwana Spika, nataka kumwambia mwenzangu nimemsikiza kwa makini na Mswahili anasema kwa nini kuandika na mate na wino upo. Tayari ametuambia mapendekezo ya vile ndugu zetu ambao tungependa kusikia maoni yao kutoka Kirinyaga vile walivyosema. Wanasema wangetaka tuende jumla, inamaanisha kwamba kamati, badala ya kamati seneti nzima ikae na kuwasikiza badala ya kupoteza muda zaidi, na mwenyewe amesema Bwana Spika, mimi nakubaliana na yeye, tuende vile walivyosema wenye maneno plenary.
Asante sana. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Senator Kenyua.
Senator Kenyua, you are out of order.
Thank you, Senator Kenyua. Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to remind the people of Kirinyaga, to remind the Senate, Whip, I think I'm on the seat, and the agitation that we are wasting, I sought the indulgence of the Speaker that I'm given space to speak. So, Mr. Speaker, I need protection so that I can articulate the issues of the people of
Conclude,
Kirinyaga. I want to say this after I conclude. I have a problem.
What's your point of order, Senator?
Mr. Speaker, sorry to interrupt the Senator of Kirinyaga, but this is important for him. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to move a motion for extension of sitting time, that notwithstanding the provision of Standing Order 31-2 and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 31-3A, the Senate resolves to extend its sitting until conclusion of the business listed in the order paper 15 in today's order paper. Mr. Speaker, the reason is this. Mr. Speaker, you've already ruled that each of the senators should have 5 minutes to contribute to this very important motion. Mr. Speaker, the people of Kirinyaga would like, Mr. Speaker, to, and the people of Kenya would like to listen to our very important deliberations before, Mr. Speaker, we can vote. And so, Mr. Speaker, I am requesting that we extend the time to enable those of us who have not made our contributions to make our contributions, and Mr. Speaker, so that for the interest of the House. I'd like to ask Senator Linturi to second.
Mr. Speaker,
Second, yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I second this motion because we should not be seen to be in a lot of hurry. We are lazing around in most of the cases because the plenary doesn't sit because of the COVID-19 regulations. So, and if we have any other better time to demonstrate to the country what we do as senators, and particularly at that moment, is now. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't matter, even if we go up to tomorrow morning, let us make sacrifices for the good people of Kirinyaga. I believe when we took oath of office, these are extra times that will require us to work extra hours because they are not ordinary times. So, Mr. Speaker, I support. And if...
Okay, Honorable Senators, I propose the question, which is that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 31-2 and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 31-3A, the Senate resolves to extend its sitting time until conclusion of the business listed in Order 15 and 24 in today's order paper. I put the question. The only challenge will be there are people, senators, who are sitting in the extended chamber. Therefore, voice vote will not work. No. No. How do we need to? I think in the circumstances, we'll just have to do a roll call because then we don't want to disadvantage those who are out there. So we have to do a roll call. So I put the question, which is that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 31-2 and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 31-3A, this Senate resolves to extend its sitting time until conclusion of the business listed in Order 15 and 24 in today's order paper. So, clerk, can we do the roll call? Okay. Okay, they should ring a bell for 1 minute. Okay, order, members. Okay, this is the way we are going to do it. The Deputy Speaker, order, members. The Deputy Speaker and one clerk will go to the extended chamber to take the votes there so that we move faster, and those who are here will vote here. It's order. Yeah. The whips can accompany them. Hello, order. Order, members, order, members. So we do it. Okay, close the doors, close the doors. Okay, Senator Kangata, you'll be a teller for the yes? Yes, let's start. Let's start. Order, members, order, order, let us start. Let us proceed. Order, members. Order, order.
Roll call division. Senator Adan Dulo.
I say no.
Senator Harake Abushiro.
Abshiro.
Senator Ali Abdurai Ibrahim.
The other chamber.
Senator Boy Isa Juma.
Senator, why don't you take your seat so that we move faster? Yeah. Continue.
So, no, not yet. Senator Cherari K. Samson.
I vote yes.
Senator Cheruyot Alon.
Please extend the time. I vote yes.
Senator Haji Mohamed Yusuf.
I vote no.
Senator Iman Farihada Deko. Senator Rigura Godana.
Ayuko.
Senator Wako Naomi Jiro. Senator Imana Malakai Charles Ekal. Senator Kabaka Boniface Mutinda. Senator Kajuang Moses.
I vote no.
Senator Kamar Margaret. Senator Chebeni Masi. Senator Kangata Irungu.
I vote no.
Senator Khaniri George. Senator Kibiru Charles Rubenson.
I vote yes for extension.
Senator Kihika Susan.
I vote yes for the extension.
Senator Victor Bringay. Senator Kimani Wamatangi. Senator Mwaura Isaac.
I vote no.
Senator Kindiki Kithure. Senator Kirinyaga Ephraim Maina. Senator Langat Christopher.
I vote yes, extend time.
Senator Milgo Alice. Senator Lelewe Tumbesi. Senator Inturi Mithinka.
Yeah, I vote for the extension of time. So yes.
Senator Loitip Anwar. Senator Mazayo Stewart.
I vote no.
Senator Gona Christine Zawadi. Senator Mahmoud Mohamed Maalim.
Yes.
Senator Marala Cleophas.
I vote no.
Senator Inima Gertrude Musuruve.
I vote no.
Senator Masisa Naomi Shiyonga. Senator Mbito Michael. Senator Mbogo George Ochiro Ayako.
I vote no.
Senator Mogeni Okongo. Senator Moi Gideon.
I vote no.
Senator Mpayei Philip. Senator Mary. Senator Pareno Judith.
I say no extension.
Senator Murkomen Kipchumba.
I vote yes.
Senator Mutula Kilonzo. Senator Mwangi Githiomi. Senator Mwaruma Jones. Senator Munyihaji Mohamed Faki. Senator Nderitu John Kinywa.
I vote yes for extension.
Senator Nduiga Njeru.
Yes for extension.
Senator Olekina Ledama.
I vote no.
Senator Ongeri Samson. Senator Orengo James.
I vote no. I vote no.
Senator Outa Frederick Otieno.
No.
Senator Nyamunga Rose.
No.
Senator Bogisho Samuel.
No.
Senator Sakaja Johnson.
I vote yes.
Senator Haji Faria Ali. Senator Kasanga Sylvia. Senator Rokorio Petronira Guere.
I vote yes.
Senator Makori Beatrice. Senator Mugo Beth Wamboi. Senator Manga Millicent.
We extend. The extension of time. I need to contribute. Yes.
Say yes or no, Senator Omanga. Don't complicate the issues.
Yes, Speaker.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Senator Wako Amos.
No.
Senator Wambua Enoch. Wambua Enoch. Senator Wario Gorich Juma. Senator Wetangura Moses.
Check with the outer chamber, open the, check so that they bring the results. Can you bring the results from the other chamber? Okay, take your seats. Honorable senators, take your seats, take your seats. Order, take your seats. Okay, order, members. Order, order. Take your seats. Senators, take your seats. Take your seats. Order, take your seats, take your seats. Honorable senators, these are the results. The ayes have 18, the noes have 41. That means that, that order, members, that means we must finish our business by 6:30, and therefore I call upon the mover to reply.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Okay, order, members, order, okay, order.
Mr. Speaker.
Order, just a minute, order. Senator Kibiru, you didn't have to finish because we must conclude this by 6:30. Conclude, because he was on the floor.
Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I want to say that the people of Kirinyaga are watching. It's unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. It looks like the die is cast, but I can tell the people of Kirinyaga, going the committee way, the verdict is known. Watch this piece. And I seriously oppose the motion.
Okay, I call the...
Point of
Who is
order.
the leader of majority?
He has walked out, but one...
The mover, let me call the mover to reply.
Mr. Speaker, point of order, Mr. Speaker.
I am the mover. Mr. Speaker, I donate my time to the majority leader and minority leader. I thank you.
Order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have a point of order. I'm on a point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Okay, order.
I'm on a point of order.
We have...
It's a very important point of order.
Okay, please.
Mr. Speaker, I know you want to call for the mover to reply, but you've called for the mover to reply, Mr. Speaker, and we can't challenge the decision of the Speaker because we have to respect the operation of the House as a Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, there is a huge constituency that has been disenfranchised in this House. The ones that were opposed to the question of forming the plenary, the committee. And Mr. Speaker, you know, the people of Kirinyaga are watching us, and they know there were issues we wanted to say that are related to them. Mr. Speaker, the last thing I want to say, you will make your ruling.
Mr. Speaker, this is
Speaker,
contribution, not Mr. Speaker, this is contribution, not order.
So I was asking, Mr. Speaker, I was just asking your indulgence. I was asking your indulgence. Mr. Speaker, out of the 18 minutes remaining, you should have at least given us, Mr. Speaker, about 8 minutes to make at least something.
Order.
We are requesting.
Order, no. We will not be able to conclude this matter. 18 minutes we have to vote. Using a roll call, we're going to go beyond the time. I think we have had the time to express ourselves. Let me call the mover, the minority they have donated their time to conclude. Minority.
Time. Mr. Speaker, the first thing I want to say, if you look at the Constitution of Kenya on the area that deals with Parliament, committees are provided for as an integral part of Parliament. In fact, the same powers that are given to Parliament in plenary is given to committees. Committees can summon witnesses.
But I thought you said the mover to reply, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Murkomen. No. The mover donated the time to the leader of minority, some few minutes to the minority and majority. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, is it not the same issue I was saying you are disenfranchising us?
Order, Senator Murkomen. Proceed, Senator Orengo.
Who is this Senator Murkomen?
Now, Mr. Speaker, having said that, this Senate should never be in a position where there is a dictation on how we handle our business. This is a very important institution. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if you go by why in the Federalist Papers they say the Senate is an important institution, you will know that we are here because the standing orders, the Constitution, give us powers to make the decisions that we're making. But I want to say this to finish. If you are like the daughter of Herod, Salome, who danced so well to Herod, and Herod asked him, "What do you want?" And Salome asked for the head of John the Baptist. Today, some people have done so well, they are not looking for justice, they are looking for somebody's head. And that head is not for Salome. That head is for somebody. Waiguru's head is being asked for not by the county assembly. I can tell you, and I have the evidence. The people who are looking for Waiguru's head is not the
Point of order,
assembly.
Mr. Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
And, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
It is very wrong.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order.
That is
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order. Point of order. Mr. Speaker, we are saying point of order, Mr. Speaker. We cannot be lectured by
I'm going to give you order, members.
That is very wrong.
Order. members. I'm going to give you. Order, members.
That is very wrong.
Order, Senator Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Leader
sit down.
Order, members. Order, members.
For the head of the governor.
Senator, order.
That's very wrong.
Order, members.
We are not looking for the head of our governor.
Senator Kwamboka, sit down. Senator Kwamboka, sit down.
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
Senator Kwamboka, sit down.
Point of order, Speaker.
Order, members. Order, members.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Susan, what's your point? And we have to
we have
conclude.
point of order.
He is casting us
Okay,
point of order.
Mr. Speaker,
No, it's wrong. You cannot.
I run the clock.
Somebody's order. Order, members. Senator Susan.
Mr. Speaker, sir, is it in order for the leader of minority, Senator Orengo, to impute improper motive in this House when we know very clearly that the impeachment motion has been brought by the County Assembly of Kirinyaga? So for him to continue lecturing here on nonsense, basically, it is inappropriate.
Order, members.
Point of order.
Order, members.
Point of order, Speaker. Point of order, Speaker.
I'm still on the
You
floor.
told me you are going to give me a session.
Just a minute.
Point of order,
This is
Speaker.
very wrong.
Point of order, Speaker.
Can you sit down?
Point of
Order,
order.
members.
Point of order, Speaker.
Order.
Point of order, Speaker.
Order. Just a minute. Senator Susan Kihika was on the floor. You know the standing orders.
Yeah.
You cannot be on the floor at the same time. Yes. Honorable senators, the whole world is watching us.
Yeah.
I think let us conduct ourselves with decorum. We don't have time.
Point of order,
Senator,
Speaker.
Leader of majority, can you contribute?
Mr. Speaker, I have a point of order. On a point of order, Mr. Speaker, we have been accused.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, on a point of
We
order.
must conclude. Order.
Mr. Speaker, you told me you'll give me a chance.
Senator Murkomen, I have given you a lot of
On
time.
a point of order.
Please.
It's a point of order,
Please.
Mr. Speaker.
Senator, Leader, can you conclude? I'll give you
Point
can
of
you
order,
conclude?
Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Conclude, Senator.
Mr. Speaker,
On a
Conclude.
point of order, Mr. Speaker, we cannot
Mr.
allow that to go on record. We can't allow that to go on record, Mr.
I'll make a
Speaker.
ruling.
Mr.
On a
Speaker,
point of order.
with those
Mr. Speaker, on a
remarks,
point of order.
I support, and the stone has had me.
Point of order, Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Langat.
Yes, what? You,
Okay, please conclude. We
yes,
don't
I'm
have
concluding. It is very wrong
I'm giving you.
for our Senator Senior Orengo, Mr. Speaker, to cast aspersion of this House as a group of people who are after the head of somebody. We never initiated this motion. It was initiated in the county government of Kirinyaga and not us here.
Point of
That
order,
is very
Speaker.
wrong, and he should
Senator.
withdraw that one.
Order.
He should withdraw that one.
Order.
It's very wrong.
Point of order, Speaker. Point of order, Speaker.
Okay, Senator,
point of order.
Leader of majorities. Order.
Speaker,
Members.
on a point of order.
Let us proceed. Senator, Leader
On a
of
point of
majorities.
order,
Mr. Speaker, point of
On a
order.
point of
Just
order.
one. Just one.
Order,
We are
members.
on a point
Please,
of
one.
order.
Mr. Speaker.
Supporting this motion,
We are on a point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Please, Speaker.
Please.
I'd like to
Point of
appeal.
order, Mr. Speaker.
On a health issue. There's a health issue, Mr. Speaker.
There is a record that must be corrected, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
You cannot force the speaker to allow you to raise a point of order.
Members.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
I'm giving you 1 minute, Senator
Okay.
Murkomen. 1 minute, then
Thank
we
you.
conclude.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the people of Kirinyaga have all along the week suspected that, Mr. Speaker, there is a decision already made elsewhere to form a committee to save Waiguru.
No, order.
Then Senator Orengo goes public, Mr. Speaker, to confirm.
Order.
Senator Orengo goes on record to confirm that a decision has already been made, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator.
So if this committee is going to sanitize Waiguru, you tell us the truth. And I want to tell the people of Kirinyaga. I want to tell the people of Kirinyaga, Mr. Speaker, that decision is already been made. This committee is a sanitizing committee.
Senator
and we're not going to
Murkomen,
accept.
Chase him out.
Mike, use your mic.
Mr. Speaker, your standing order 116 will bear you out on people who cause these kind of problems. Mr. Speaker, we are saying that the verdict which is coming out of here is from the Senate. it shall be owned by the Senate, because committees are owned by the Senate. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to support that and ask that we move in this direction so that, Mr. Speaker, we can conclude in vote. We can then determine which direction, which is going to be owned by the Senate.
Okay, order, members. The mover had donated time. I now put the question, which is that whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act 2012, and Standing Order 58 of the Kirinyaga County Assembly Standing Orders on 9th June 2020, the County Assembly of Kirinyaga approved order members.
Speaker, point of order.
Approved, please.
Before putting the question, Mr. Speaker, the standing order.
Order members.
There is a constitutional question. There's a constitutional question.
Order, Murkomen.
Order, Speaker.
Order, members.
There's a constitutional question.
Order.
You have to determine whether it concerns counties or not.
Order, members.
Just continue proceeding like that.
Order, members.
Mr. Speaker, there's a constitutional procedure. You are jumping.
Just a minute.
And we must say it.
Okay, order, members.
There's a constitutional procedure.
Wait, order, members. I know.
Yeah.
Members, order. When we voted here, order, members, my last ruling was that it was not a matter affecting.
But you have not ruled today.
Wait. Order, Senator Murkomen. And even in the Waititu case, we voted, or all members voted. So I'm saying it's not a matter concerning.
Yeah, you should say that. That is the point I was trying to tell you.
Okay. Whereas, pursuant to Article 181, order members of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act 2020, and Standing Order 58 of the County Assembly of Kirinyaga approved a motion to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Ann Mumbi Waiguru, the Governor of Kirinyaga County. And further, whereas by letter reference CAK/SPK/SEN/1 dated 9th June 2020 and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Wednesday 10th June 2020, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kirinyaga informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. And whereas pursuant to Section 33(3)(b) of the County Government Act 2020 and Standing Order 75(1)(b) of the Senate may, by resolution, appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter or investigate the matter in plenary. Now, therefore, pursuant to Section 33(3)(b) of the County Governments Act 2012 and Standing Order 75(1)(b)(1), the Senate resolves to establish a special committee comprising of 1 Senator Bashir Al-Haq MP, Senator Dr. Michael Mbito MP, 3 Senator Mwangi Paul Kidiome MP, 4 Senator Beth Muko EGH MP, 5 Senator Anwar Loituptip MP, 6 Senator Philip Mbaye MP, 7 Senator Cleophas Malala MP, 8 Senator Beatrice Kwamboka MP, 9 Senator Stewart Mazayo MP, 10 Senator Judith Pareno MP, 11 Senator Moses Kajwang MP, to investigate the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Governor of Kirinyaga County and report to the Senate within 10 days pursuant to Standing Order 72(2) of its appointment on whether it finds the particulars of the allegations to have been substantiated. We are going to use a roll call. Like I said, the voice vote cannot work because of the extended chamber, and therefore we are going to do exactly the way we did the other voting. So the Deputy Speaker and some clerk go and get the votes there as we start with ours here with the clerk. Mm-hmm. Okay, the bell rings for 1 minute as the Deputy Speaker goes. Can we start? Hello, start. Eh? Close the doors, let's start. You know, time is low. Honorable Senators, take your seats. Honorable Senators, take your seats. Mogere, proceed.
Road Code Division.
Silence, Honorable Senators. We don't have time. Take your seats, Chief, the whip. You are the one who is supposed to be organizing your people.
Senator Adan Duro Fatuma.
Mics. Okay, Senator Dulo, let's proceed.
Mutaskia, I vote yes.
Senator Ari Abdurrahim Ibrahim. Senator Boy Isa Juma. Senator Chebeni Masi. Senator Cherari K. Samson Kiprotich.
I vote no, plenary all the way.
Senator Cheruiyot Aaron Kipkureu.
Read the next one.
It's not, Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Gona Christine Zawadi. Senator Haji Faria Ali. Senator Haji Mohamed Yusuf.
I vote yes.
Senator Harake Abshiro Soka. Senator Harigura Godana. Senator Iman Farihada Deko. Senator Imana Marakai Charles Ekal. Senator Inima Gertrude Musuruve.
I vote yes.
Senator Kabaka Boniface Mutinda. Senator Kajwang Moses Otieno.
I vote yes.
Senator Kamar Margaret Chepkoech. Senator Kangata Irungu.
Vote yes.
Senator Kasanga Sylvia. Senator Haniri George. Senator Kibiru Charles.
The people of Kirinyaga who I represent vote no.
Senator Kiika Susan.
I vote no to the Capitol Hill Sanitization Committee.
Senator Kilonzo Mutura Jr.
I vote yes.
Mr. Speaker, on a point of order.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi.
But that is no vote.
Senator Kindiki Kithure. Senator Kirinyaga Ephraim Maina. Senator Langat Christopher.
Yes, I fought no. It is me. I fought no. I fought no.
No, it's no.
I fought no.
Senator Lelewe Tumbesi.
Hakuna.
Senator Linturi Mithika.
No.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no. Senator Loitiptip Anwar. Senator Okorio Petronira Were.
I vote yes.
Senator Mazayo Stewart.
I vote yes.
Senator Mahmoud Mohamed Maalim.
Abstain.
Senator Makori Beatrice Kwamboka. Senator Marara Cleophas.
I vote yes.
Senator Masisa Naomi Shionga.
I vote yes.
Senator Mbito Michael. Senator Mbogo George Ochiro Ayako.
I vote absolutely yes.
Senator Milgo Aris. Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo. Senator Moi Gideon.
I vote yes.
Senator Mpayei Philip Salau. Senator Mugo Beth. Senator Murkomen Kipchumba.
Okay, it's good. Mr. Speaker, on this committee that has been formed to clear Waiguru, I vote no.
Senator Mwangi Githiomi. Senator Mwaruma Jones. Senator Mwaura Isaac.
I vote yes.
Senator Munyihaji Mohamed Faki. Senator Nderitu John Kinywa.
I vote no to stand with people of Kirinyaga.
Senator Ndwiga Njeru.
Embu delegation votes no.
Senator Nyamunga Rose.
I vote yes.
Senator Olekina Redama.
I vote yes.
Senator Omanga Millicent. Senator Ongeri Samson. Senator Orengo James.
I vote yes.
Senator Outa Frederick Otieno.
I vote yes.
Senator Pareno Judith.
I vote yes.
Senator Bogisho Samuel.
I vote yes.
Senator Pringei Victor. Senator Sakaja Johnson. Senator Mary Yane. Senator Wako Amos.
I vote YES, yes.
Senator Wambua Enoch. Senator Wako Naomi Jilo. Senator Wario Gorich Juma. Senator Wetangura Moses. Senator Zani Agnes.
Open the door. Open. Okay, order members. I'm using my powers under Standing Order 31-2. So unless for the convenience of the Senate, the Speaker or the Chairperson, as it may be, this case being the Speaker, directs earlier or later interruption of business at 6:30 p.m. The Speaker or the Chairperson shall interrupt the business then under consideration, and if the Senate is in committee, the Chairperson shall leave the chair and report progress and ask for leave to sit again. So I'm just waiting for the report. I wanted to use my powers under that section. Senator Kwamboka, you are out of order. Okay, order members. Order members, take your seats. Order members. Okay. These are the results of the vote. Abstentions 1, the nays 14, the ayes 45. So that means order. That excitement can be done outside the chamber. Order members, I therefore direct that the committee commences their work immediately and report back within 10 days. Next order, we have.
Order number 24, motion, alteration of the Senate calendar, regular sessions for the 4th session.
Yeah. Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that notwithstanding the Senate resolutions made on the 27th February 2020, approval of Senate calendar, 17th March 2020, 14th April 2020, and 2nd June 2020, alteration of the Senate calendar, the Senate, pursuant to Standing Order number 29.4 and 31.3b, now resolves to hold its sitting on Tuesday, 23rd June 2020, morning, starting from 10 a.m. and ending at 12:30 p.m., and afternoon, and thereafter proceed on recess and resume sittings on Tuesday, 7th July 2020. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and ask Senator Orengo to second.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
Order members, I now propose the question, which is that notwithstanding the Senate resolutions made on 27th February 2020 approval of the Senate calendars, 17th March 2020, 14th April 2020, and 2nd June 2020, alteration of the Senate calendar, the Senate, pursuant to Standing Order 29.4 and 31.3, be now resolved to hold its sittings on Tuesday, 23rd June 2020, morning starting from 10 a.m. and ending at 12:30 p.m., and afternoon, and thereafter proceed on recess and resume sittings on Tuesday, 7th July 2020. I put the question, which is that notwithstanding the Senate resolutions made on 27th February 2020, approval of Senate calendar, 17th March 2020, 14th April 2020, and 2nd June 2020, alteration of the Senate calendar, the Senate, pursuant to Standing Order 29.4 and 31.3, be now resolved to hold its sittings on Tuesday, 23rd June 2020, morning starting from 10 a.m. and ending at 12:30 p.m., and afternoon, and thereafter proceed on recess and resume sittings on Tuesday, 7th July 2020. As many are of that opinion, say aye. Aye. As many are of the contrary view, say nay. I think the ayes have it. Honorable Senators, having concluded the business, it's now time to adjourn the House. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until Tuesday, 23rd June 2020, 10 a.m.